And we say good morning to you. Welcome aboard. We're live at Champion Chevrolet in the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City again on this Thursday. This is our typical day to be here, July the 20th, 2017. We got lots to talk about. Our show number is 561. They said it wouldn't last, and here we are going strong. We're going to be here today, tomorrow at Food City in Churchill. Monday we'll be in the hills of West Virginia. We'll be in Charleston, or actually South Charleston at Hardee's, broadcasting live there, talking West Virginia and Tennessee sports. We're going to be there. Of course, next Tuesday we'll be back at Blue Lizard in South Johnson City. Next Wednesday we'll be at Chick-fil-A. Next Thursday we'll be right back here at Champion Chevrolet. And the next Friday, new stop, we're going to be at Sprint in North Johnson City, broadcasting live there, having a big time. So it continues to grow. We thank you for that. Of course, we thank the Lord for that, because this show is dedicated to Him. We always start our show, and I've been talking to my man Duck, and or Don, not Duck. Well, he is Duck, but he's not Duck today. He's Don. So, got my bell. And here's the verse to get us started. It comes out of the book of Proverbs. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct thy paths. So, got that right here on the old bracelet. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. So, again, out of the book of Proverbs. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. So, don't try and figure it out yourself. Give it to Him. Let Him do it. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct thy paths. There we go. And that is our thought for the day and the verse for the day. Coming up, we got baseball. We got NASCAR. We've got college football. Got all kinds of stuff to talk about again on this day. We're going to be joined by our buddy Kevin Arm with UT Sports Update, what's going on with the Big Orange. We're going to break down in depth and analyze the Southeastern Conference Eastern Division. Florida's been picked, Georgia's been picked, Tennessee's been picked to do well. Then, of course, you have Kentucky and Vanderbilt and South Carolina and Missouri coming out of the conference. So we're going to analyze the SEC East pretty strongly and get the very latest of what's going on in Knoxville. Dave Angie by to join us again, the Johnson City Press. Dave's going to be the co-host of the show. We're going to be starting up next month. It is the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show, and so he's going to co-host the show with me. He'll be by today to talk. Normally, yesterday we're at Chick-fil-A. Yesterday we were at Mike's Meadows and Martin Kingsport. So we're back at our regular stop next Wednesday at Chick-fil-A, and we're going to be back at Mike's Medicine Mart again in the month of August. Love going over there. Carmichael joins us a little bit later on. Just a plethora of sports from the man from the Johnson City Parks and Rec. And then, of course, our first guest coming up from North Point Church, our buddy Don Shepard. He and I did Science Hill ball games together a couple of years ago, and just a dear friend and a guy that knows a lot about what he's going to be talking about, obviously, with the event coming up at his church. And also, he is a big Red Sox fan. Now, the Yankees went out and got some players the night before last. We told you all about that. So we'll see what he says about his Red Sox, what they need to do to, again, make the change. So we'll do that coming up next here. We'll take our first break, and he is here, and he's ready to go. Carmichael's going to come a little early. In fact, he's just walked in the door. So we'll be ready to go. We're stocked and loaded for bear. Andy Dietrich's going to join us. Kristen Martin, my little sissy Chrissy's going to be here. Gosh, this sounds terrible. My little sissy Chrissy. And so we're going to be here coming up in just a few minutes, and she will, talking about the internet sales at Champion Chevrolet. Next, we'll talk to Don Shepard. Then Carmichael, we're loaded for bear on the Tom Dolan Sports Show.
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE Master Technicians here. With the ratio, it goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop. So it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitat, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229 9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Douglas Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We are live at Champion Chevrolet again on the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City. I am not Don Shepard, but I'm about to put him up on the camera where he can be and be seen, and boom, there he is. How you doing, bub? Look up there.
Hey, I'm doing good. How about you, Tom?
Look at you right there. Look at, ain't you a handsome
Clean
man?
up all right?
Yeah, soap and water. Kim says he's purty. That would be
You know how much I hate these things, right?
Yeah, amen, brother. Kim be his lovely bride. So, hey, we got lots to talk about. Of course, you're here for a couple of reasons. We'll talk a little Tennessee football and talk a little Boston Red Sox here in a minute. But he wants to talk about an event going on at his church, and we're all about promoting what's happening in and around churches from time to time. So, North Point Church Family Fun. Tell me about it.
Yeah, that's our church where we meet up at the Summit Building over at 3104 Hanover Road on Sundays at 10 o'clock. But we are trying to have a big family event on next Friday, the 28th of July, and we've mailed some flyers out to some families, especially geared toward children. We're going to have inflatables there, face paint, balloons, popcorn, cotton candy, the whole works. And when it comes dark, I'm going to show a movie, a family movie, and all that's free, no cost to anybody. We just want to invite people to come in and see what's going on at our church. There won't be no big spiel or anything to pressure anybody. You won't have to sign up and say who you are or anything else. Just come by and enjoy a nice evening with us here at North Point Church.
Yep, it's on Hanover, right beside Wallabies in North Johnson City there, beside Wallabies, North Johnson City and Hanover Road, and most folks know where that's at. Anybody with kids or grandkids certainly knows where that's at. So North Point Church is going to be on the 28th. To go from 6 o'clock in the evening until whenever the fun ends up and stops. And as he said, everything is free. Can I keep this and promote it?
You
all
can
week
absolutely keep that. I brought it for you.
Yep, I'll keep it and promote that all week for you. So it's coming up next Friday, North Point Church Family Fun, beside Wallabies in North Johnson City. Inflatables, popcorn, cotton candy, snow cones, the outdoor movie, balloons, face painting, and everything has that big price tag of $0. Everything is free, and so good stuff. And it's just a chance. It's an outreach for the community, and let folks know that it's having fun. Of course, for the Johnson City kids, that's probably the last Friday. It is the last Friday before school starts, so which is unbelievable. But anyways, that's coming up. North Point Church Family Fun, Hanover Road, right beside Wallabies in North Johnson City, next Friday from 6 o'clock in the evening till the fun winds down. So, Red Sox, Boston Red Sox, what's going on with your Sox?
Well, they're doing good. I'm really happy with how they're playing right now. They're leading the East, which they struggled to get there about midway through the first half, and once they've got there, they've not looked back. But you know, the Yankees are always going to be there, and it looks like Tampa Bay is going to have something to say about this before it's all over with. But I'm happy with where they're playing now. We need some help at third base, and of course we got our legs cut out from under us the other day when the Yankees picked up the third baseman we were looking at. So I hope they're still looking. I know Toronto's got a good third baseman in Donaldson that hits for power, and he's a good defensive third baseman. And they're in the cellar, so hopefully somebody's talking to them.
Days after designating third baseman Pablo Sandoval for assignment, the Red Sox have now released him. He's gone, so that was a big bust, big financial mistake, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they don't work out, and this one did not. So the Red Sox need a good, solid third baseman heading down the home stretch for the pennant race, which they're very much in. They've won 2. They're 5-5 over the last 10. They've won 2 in a row. The Red Sox are a 3-game lead over Tampa Bay. With the Yankees are ahead by 4.5. Baltimore's kind of caught fire. They've won 3 in a row. So I think it's going to be a very competitive Eastern Division race before it's all said and done. And in between Boston and the Yankees, quietly there sits the Tampa Bay Devil Rays hanging right in there.
Yeah, they're hanging around. You talked about Sandoval earlier. He's going back to the Giants as of last night. They've offered him a contract to play minor league ball. The Red Sox, the Red Sox are into a lot of money with him. He's still under contract, and we paid him way too much. He's just not put out, so they're done with him, and let's move on and get somebody better.
Hottest team in baseball, we're going to do our baseball segment coming up here after Carmichael, is and are the Los Angeles Dodgers. These guys, they win again last night?
Yeah, they're 10-11
in a row, 31-4 over the last 35 games. They're 11 straight wins, and these guys are incredible. Their road record, the Dodgers are 27-18. Houston on the road is 33-11. So it's one thing to win your home games, you got to win your road games, and they are best 2 teams in baseball right now, the Astros and the Dodgers. Don't know our buddy Don Shepard again from North Point Church. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet. Andy's going to join us coming up here in a few minutes. Carmichael joins us next. Kind of a different time frame. Carmichael's got some things going on. In fact, a big thing, putting a lot of money into the Johnson City and probably spilling over to the other cities' coffers. Big event this weekend. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but he's going to tell us all about how there's the old tourism folks are saying lots of heads and beds this weekend here in the Tri-Cities. We'll let him tell us about that coming up in a moment. College football. What do you want to talk about? How about the Big Orange? What do you think this year?
Well, we're going to see. It's a put up or shut up, I guess. But you know how Butch Jones is. He's got the old coach speak. Always got the same old language coming and going. But I see them definitely winning 5 games this year. No-brainers. I think they go to Vanderbilt and make a statement after what happened last year. I think it's a loss to Alabama. I think we just need to be real about that. But there's 6 other games that are tosses, and most of those are in the SEC. And it's what happens in those 6 games which determines the record. If they go 500 in that, I see them as a 7-5 team.
How important is that first game out of the chute, Georgia Tech down there?
Well, Georgia Tech's tough. They run the wishbone down there, that spread option, veer, whatever it is. And they've run it for years, and it's always given good teams a hard time. So I think the van is going to get loaded up pretty soon against Butch if he doesn't get a win out of them.
We're going to put him to the test here. We got a few minutes before Carmichael jumps in here, so I'm going to put him over here and see what he thinks. All right, win or lose at Georgia Tech?
Well, that's a toss-up. That's one of the games that I had a toss-up. I hope we can win. But
you got to make a commitment because we're having fun here.
Oh, you want me to commit?
Win or lose?
I'm going to say lose.
Lose, all right. Indiana State back home.
That's a win.
Checkbook game. At Florida.
It's a loss.
Okay, you're 1-2. UMass back home.
Win.
Georgia at home.
It's a win.
South Carolina at home.
Win.
Okay. At Alabama.
Loss.
At Kentucky.
It's a win.
Okay. Southern Miss.
It's a win.
Okay. At Missouri.
Win.
LSU at home.
Loss.
Okay. And Vanderbilt at home.
Win.
Okay. You got them at 8-4. Is that okay with him? Is that okay with Butch?
I don't know if it's going to be okay with the fan base.
That's what I'm getting. That was my next question. Be okay with the fan base?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
So you got Stoops looming out there, I guess, looking for a job still too. So
yes.
Not sure what's going on with that. He's, usually this day and time, with a high name like that gets released from a team, they get hired pretty quick.
Yeah, gets scooped up.
Yep, and
he's
not been scooped up. No, he's not done.
No,
but he's staying out of the limelight, isn't he?
Laying low.
He may get on one of these big radio stations or TV stations, college football, and make a little bit of money and ride this thing out to see what opens up this year.
See what happens next. You got it. Now, preseason college football right around the corner. Big game that started Alabama and Florida State early on down in Atlanta to kind of get the thing rolling. So, in your humble opinion, here are some of the teams to be looking out for this year.
Alabama's always going to be there. The SEC's got a couple other teams. LSU you can't ever look past, and Auburn. And I think Florida's probably better than we think they are. So it'd be good to go down there and win, but I just don't see it happening.
Michael Wayne and the Gators pretty tough in the swamp, and even they're very tough in the swamp. As a matter of fact, let's see here. I got this book. I always keep going back to this book. Carmichael says it's very thorough, and I think so too. But I want to check something real quick before we go to the break here. Yeah, Carmichael. That's it. Michael Wayne in Florida and the swamp, 24-6.
It's pretty good.
Play 30 and win 24. It's pretty tough to beat you at home. Pretty solid in his third year. So the Gators 24-6 in the swamp. They'll have the Big Orange down there on September the 16th. So if you had to pick the SEC East, how would you stack them up? Who's your winner?
I think Florida. I think Florida is.
Number 2?
It's probably Georgia.
Number 3?
And Tennessee's in there.
Number 3, Tennessee. Number 4? You see Kentucky, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Missouri.
I think probably Kentucky.
Okay. Number 5 would be then South Carolina. Then Vanderbilt and Missouri, just kind of flip-flop them, put them in the hat and shake them up. There you go. All right, so we're going to get him back on again soon. We'll come back next week and do this again.
We'll see what happens with the schedule. I really appreciate you bringing me in. Let us promote something like this. It's for kids. It's a last hurrah for the moms and dads that can't wait for them kids to get back to school, and maybe bring them out to see us next Thursday or next Friday night on the 28th, and let them have a little fun, unwind, and get a good night's sleep, hopefully.
There you go. That's the key. Get a good night's sleep. Put in the bed tired. North Point Church Family Fun next Friday night here in North Johnson City beside Wallabies on Hanover Road. And again, starts at 6 o'clock, and everything is free. Inflatables, face painting, popcorn balloons, cotton candy, snow cones, and an outdoor movie, as you heard him say. So we'll get you back on next week and talk about it again.
All right.
Come back again?
I'll try to.
Absolutely. Quick break. We'll be right back. We are live here at Champion Chevrolet. Show number 561. Coming up next, Carmichael's in the house here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do you do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
Back with the Tom Little Sports Show. There he is on the screen, my buddy Carmichael. We will have Andy Dietrich coming up here in just a few minutes from Champion Chevrolet. Then also my sissy Chrissy. I think that's going to be the new name for her. Our buddy Kristen Martin, Internet Sales. She's going to join us coming up here in a few minutes, or a little bit later on the show. As is Dave Onge. As is, who else is coming? Kevin Harmon, talking a little Tennessee football. Carmichael's here. Johnson City Parks and Rec, putting heads in beds, a huge, and I mean huge, tournament coming to town today with a lot of economic impact on it. And goodness gracious, tell us what's getting ready to happen today with the parade and everything here in Johnson City.
It's a group called Future Stars of Sports. They're based out of Kentucky, and a local gentleman named Conley Fletcher got involved. He used to work for us at the Park and Recreation. He got involved with this organization several years ago, running softball and baseball events. Started in 2011. They brought their softball World Series to Johnson City. They had 30, and this is all age divisions. They had 34 teams at that time. This year they've got 130 teams.
Wow.
They're playing not only here at Wing Deer Park, they're playing at the complex in Bristol, White Top complex right behind the racetrack. They're playing there, those fields there. They're using Grandview, which is 3 fields down at the county middle school, and Ridgeview, which is 4 schools out at Daniel Boone, Gray area. So with that many teams, of the 130 teams, Conley told me, only 15 of them were from this area. So 115 out-of-town teams from 12 states: New York, Pennsylvania, let's see if I can remember them all, New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Georgia, and one other, not North Carolina, but another state. And that they're coming in here. Most of them probably got in here last night because they were having an athletes parade and athletes opening ceremony at 2 o'clock at Wing Deer Park. And the games began at 5 o'clock, so most of the teams were in here at least last night, the out-of-town teams. So they're going to be here at least Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and probably into Saturday, because the teams are guaranteed 5 games in the tournament. So they're going to be here for 3-4 days, filling up all the hotel rooms, going to all the restaurants, doing everything like that. So it's a big economic impact for the community.
Absolutely.
Not only have we got this tournament going on here this weekend, we've got the state Little League 13 and 13-year-old baseball tournament be played today. Jonesboro is the host, but because David Crockett's infield is not ready yet, we're hosting that at Broyles Field Saturday, Sunday, and it's moving over to Thomas Stadium next week. Goodlettsville, the team that was the USA champion last year, is in this tournament. So if you want, they're going to be playing Saturday, Sunday at Broyles, and Monday through Wednesday at Thomas. Casey Marler with WJHL is kind of one of the tournament organizers with this tournament. So you got another 5 baseball teams out of town coming in tomorrow and going to be here till Tuesday or Wednesday next week. We have a rugby tournament at Civitan Park on Saturday. If you want to see rugby played, a lot of out-of-town teams and collegiate rugby teams coming in to play Saturday at Civitan Park. So we just got a boatload of people in here doing all kinds of sports things this weekend to this community.
Tournament you're doing, referring to all the teams, it's a fast pitch girls softball.
Fast pitch girls softball tournament. They start at ages 8 and under and work all the way up through high school ages.
I would think hotels would be at a premium then, not only in Johnson City, but in Kingsport and Bristol as well. You got state baseball tournament in here, 13 and under. You've got this big tournament that Carmichael's referring to that starts today with all these teams, and the rugby guys are coming in and out of town. They got to stay somewhere too. Plus, if any of the Appalachian League teams will check or having out-of-town teams play, they got to stay in a room somewhere too. So busy weekend, lots of money being made here to help the old coffers via tourism. So if you see a lot of out-of-town tags, and you will, and teams out eating at the restaurants, be nice to them because they're definitely putting money in our pockets here in Northeast Tennessee and specifically in the Tri-Cities. Also tonight at Wing Deer Park, a makeup concert from a rain out early New Year. Tell me
With
about that.
Asylum Suite, they have opened for a lot of big rock groups back in the late 70s and early 80s. They're more of a, I wouldn't call them, maybe like a southern rock type atmosphere, or a more rockier, not really a metal band type thing, but more southern rock and those genre of bands. They're going to be at Wing Deer tonight, the pavilion down at the Lake Meredith Pavilion from 7 until 9.
We're talking to Carmichael from Johnson City Parks and Rec, who has to get back up to get ready for the parade, so we won't keep him but a few more minutes. So Major League Baseball, who's getting hot right now at the right time in the second half of the season? You would look no further than the boys in Chicago. 6 straight they've won. The Cubbies now a game and a half out. Pirates have won 4 in a row. Sterling Marte back. It's kind of been a jump start of their team now. They're on fire. They won 4 in a row, 8 of their last 10. Cubs have won 6 straight, 7 out of their last 10. So it's tightening up. The Brewers have lost 4 in a row, so now the Cubs are only a game and a half out. Pittsburgh 4 out. Cardinals 4 and a half out. So it's starting to heat up in the Central.
Milwaukee has finally, Cinderella's hit 12 o'clock for Milwaukee because the Cubs, the Quintana trade, literally as I walked out of here last Thursday, they make that trade. Now the White Sox are being set up. This is, the White Sox may be in last place today, but this is a chance in 2 years, maybe 3. This team could be really the best team. They've got 10 of the top 100 prospects in baseball, and I mean they are really going to. And they've still got a few more pieces to sell off. And there's still talk that they're going to make a few more trades to just help develop their farm system.
American League East, Boston with a 3-game lead. They've won 2 in a row. Baltimore's caught fire a little bit. They've won 3 straight, but it's Boston. Tampa Bay 3 back. Yankees 4.5 back. Baltimore still in the hunt. They're 8 back in the East. And the Yankees went out and got Todd Frazier, who turned right around and got hurt. Got a story about him. He is going to be on the DL. And also, J.D. Martinez got hurt last night.
But to think J.D., I was watching that game. I missed when it happened, but was watching it. They think his was not just more of a bruise, not as severe. Frazier did get hurt. He's going to have to spend some time out. The Yankees get David Robertson to come back to New York. He left New York as a free agent, came back to help solidify their bullpen. I mean, it's going to be, with the Yankees, if they can get you to the 7th inning, they're going to be hard to handle coming down the stretch with all the arms that they've got coming out of the bullpen.
In the Central, Cleveland a half-game lead over Minnesota. Kansas City 2 back. Detroit 5 back. Norris pitched Tuesday night, got shelled in Toledo. Young man out of Johnson City. 3 innings, 3 hits, 5 runs. 4 of those earned. Walked 2, struck out 4, gave up a home run. Not a good outing for Daniel Norris. Has been 3 in a row now. So this was a rehab assignment. Detroit hanging though. They are 5 out. They're 43 and 50. Of course, they got rid of Martinez, but. That Central Division, the American League's pretty tight too.
And see, that's the decision. At the beginning of the week, Kansas City was having to make a decision, and probably over the next couple of days, they've got to make a decision. Are you going to stay in this to try to win, or are you going to go ahead and cut bait? They started out; they were playing much better than they are now. Now they've just won 3 out of the last 10. But a week ago, they were playing better. Now they're going to have to decide. They've got some free agent to-be's coming up. Do we move them on out now and start the rebuild mode, or do we still, take a chance, pick up some more veterans? I think they're going to send people out. Detroit, there's been still trade rumors coming out of Detroit, especially with Justin Verlander, possibly a rebuild there. I mean, Chicago is doing anybody that's a veteran in Chicago is pretty much open to be traded. That's how you look at it. Houston, even though they lose Correa, they still are just motoring right along. They moved Marvin Gonzalez, who's been their jack of all trades this year. Could have been an all-star, hitting way over 300, 312, and a bunch of home runs and RBIs. He's played first, he's played third, he's played the outfield. Now they're going to play him at shortstop till they get Correa back, and they keep another bat in the lineup. So they're just moving right along. Seattle is playing much better, and this could be a team that is, and was a lot of people thought Seattle would be a threat to win the West this year. Now Seattle's just trying to get into the wild card.
We're talking to Carmichael. Let's take a look at the National League real quick. Washington, 11.5 game lead over the Braves in the East. In the Central, we talked about that. It's getting tighter by the day, and that's a good thing. It's good for baseball. It's good for all those teams in that fan base and their fan bases. In the West, Dodgers are still the Dodgers. They've won 11 straight, 66-29. They're 31-4 over the last 35 games. On their heels, Colorado playing some pretty good baseball, but they won 4 in a row. But it's all Dodgers right now. So interesting. We got the trade deadline coming up on the 31st. So still some things can happen as far as folks making some moves.
Still looking at people, especially those teams. And it's this time of the year you have to decide: are we a contender or are we not? And if we aren't, now do we start sell? It's sell the players, and especially if you're a team like Detroit, they got a lot of older players, a lot of high dollar players. If you can move them, that's the other issue. It's like, we'd like to trade them, but can we actually? Will somebody take their contract? And then you start. Then after those moves, you're going to start seeing some managerial changes, or starting to get ready for next year with managerial changes.
We'll switch gears for just a second before we let him go, and we'll tell that, of course, your guy, Ezekiel Elliott, gets a pass from the Dallas Police Department. They dropped the investigation, so looks like everything's good.
I am a Cowboy fan, but I'm not necessarily, and he's okay to watch him run, but it was like, I'm a big fantasy football player too. I wouldn't draft if I was drafting fantasy football today. I wouldn't take the guy. You just don't know when the next shoe's going to drop with him. And there's still just because he got off with the Dallas Police Department this week. I said it had to be like the old time Dallas Police Department the J.R. Ewing Dallas Police Department must have come back to let him off the hook because he's a Cowboy player. But what's Goodell going to do with him? I still think there's a suspension. I think there is. Adam Schefter said it at the end of last week. They think there is a suspension coming up with Elliott over all the troubles that's been going on the last year. Whether it's 1 game, 2 games, 3, they think 3 at the most. But he's just a knucklehead.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically knucklehead.
A couple other NFL stories. Again, Dante Fowler, the former Florida standout, was arrested last night in Tampa, according to a police report. Man said something about Fowler's driving. Fowler got out of his car, engaged in words with the other man, then hit the man, knocked his glasses off and stepped on and broke them. Then now this is the best part. This guy takes the victim's grocery bag, apparently been to the grocery store, takes his grocery bag with recently purchased liquor and threw it into the lake right beside where they were parked.
Sounds like the end of a NASCAR race. I mean, that sounds like Joey Logano and somebody else getting into it. The Cheesecake Factory boy getting into it at the end of a race.
Another tough story of the Chargers. Again, their first-round pick, Mike Williams, needing some season-ending back surgery. A receiver out of Clemson, 7th overall pick in the draft. Had high hopes for him. Suffered a herniated disc in rookie minicamp and has been fighting that ever since. Looks like he will have season-ending back surgery, which is a big blow to the Chargers.
It is, but they've got, if they can, and here's, San Diego has lost so many players over the last few years, especially receivers, to injuries. If they can still they can afford the Mike Williams loss if they can keep everybody else healthy this year. And if they can, there could be a surprise team in the AFC West.
Last thing, the best-selling jersey right now in the country, the NFL, the number 1 selling jersey, it ain't Tom Brady, it ain't Dak Prescott, it ain't even Deshaun Watson, it is from the Raiders. Marshawn Lynch is the number 1. What a look, what a face Carmichael gets like, really?
But you expect the Raiders for years. I mean, since the Raiders and the Cowboys and probably the Steelers have been probably the 3 best-selling teams of jerseys or merchandise in the NFL. I mean, it doesn't, it's all the way back for 45 years. It's been this way. And now you've got a personality like Marshawn. Now, you don't know what it's going to translate to on the field. He's been out a year, and the last year that he played, he was injured. But then I kind of take this back He's Marshawn's what, 31?
31, 30, 31, 32, somewhere through there.
John Riggins made the decision when he was with the Redskins. He sat out an entire season because of a salary dispute. And he came back and was a better player after he came back than he was when he played. And he said that was what got me in the Hall of Fame, was taking that year off when I was 29 or 30 and not doing any, staying in shape, but not doing anything and saving my legs. And I was able to come back for a few more years. Now, let's see if Marshawn Lynch has that same kind of thing. Does these year of getting healthy, completely healthy again, translate to an on-field performance?
We'll see. The Raiders, again, it was funny because I went to a place just yesterday, and the Tri-Cities, my travels, a sporting goods place sells a lot of ball caps, and all of a sudden I see a big row of Raiders hats. Is he selling Raiders? I said, oh, yeah. I said, there you go. Now they're coming out of the closet. I said, us win, lose, or tie till we die Raiders, we're always there, but now the popularity is starting to kick in because of Lynch, and so they got to do it on the field, but we'll see. I know you can get back up there. I appreciate you coming.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you next week, and
yes,
we'll take
sir.
a quick break. We'll come right back, and we'll carry on here. Show number 561. We're live at Champion Chevrolet on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, brought to you by Grip Energy Drink.
This is the place where you can forget all about work for a while and celebrate the good old U.S. of A. And take in the best bumper-banging, fist-waving, hero-making short track race of the year, the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. And kids' tickets are just $10. Be there August 19th, because it ain't just another race. It's Bristol, baby.
Trucks, and more trucks at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. We have a huge selection of over 400 new Silverados to choose from, with over 700 total Chevrolets in stock, with savings that are bigger than our massive selection. Silverado Double and Crew Cab All-Stars, $11,000 off MSRP. Malibu LT, 20% off. 17 Colorado, $19,995. 17 Equinox, $21,445. Don't miss out on one of the best times to buy a new Chevrolet with savings that will leave you asking, how do they do that? At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
back live. We're back live again at Champion Chevrolet. My man is in the house, co-owner Andy Dietrich, see on the screen, co-owner Champion Chevrolet. And how did they do that? And so it's been a good month already. Man, oh man, you guys been moving the motion.
Oh yeah, we've been rocking.
It's awesome.
It's 9 cars yesterday sold.
Sold 9 just yesterday.
That's pretty good for a hump day.
That is hump day. On a hot hump day, too.
Hump
a lot of
day.
folks don't want to come out here in the heat and walk around, but hey, got to move these machines, and you're moving them. Now, you're looking to add to the team. Tell me about that.
Yes, we have just been, our service department has been bursting at the seams for a long time now. And we just need to make room for some new service techs and some new lube and oil guys. So we are expanding our service department, not our building per se, not yet, but we do have openings, several openings for both the mechanics and lube and oil. So if you've got anybody that you know, or pass it along, it's on our Facebook page. They need to contact Mark Leonard, our service manager here at the dealership, or you can email him your resume at mleonard@championjc.com. 2 biggies for us: must pass the drug test, and you've got to have a valid driver's license with a good driving record. That's our biggie. And we've talked about it before. We do have a family atmosphere here. I've worked at several dealerships. I've been here for 10, owning this for 10, but I did work at other dealerships before, and this is a great place to work. Not just because I own it. I've worked other places, and I've seen, some people, things just don't click like they should. Here they do, and we get along together. We eat together, we pray together, we have a good time together, and it's a very special place to work. And we're award-winning, we're the largest volume, we've had the biggest service department, biggest parts department, and sell more accessories than anyone. So if you know of anybody, or if you know yourself you want to make a change here at a dealership, please email us, mleonard@championjc.com, or call and speak to Mark Leonard, our service manager here. And I wanted to change the subject just a little bit. Guess who I saw Tuesday night?
Who did you see Tuesday night?
Will Little.
Umpire Will Little.
Yes.
You were at a ball game.
Yes. You remember I told you that Haley gave me for Christmas tickets to see James Taylor play at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
So Monday night we went and saw James Taylor at Wrigley Field. We took the kids with us. So I was at Wrigley Field Monday night, and Tuesday night we had gotten tickets for the White Sox. Cubs were out of town this week. They were in Atlanta. So Tuesday night we went and saw the White Sox play the Dodgers. And I was sitting there in my seat, and I said, that guy looks really young to be the umpire there behind home plate. And he took his mask off. And I said, he looks familiar. And I texted Tim, and I said, that looks like Will Little. And I said, he has 93 on his sleeve. And I guess they have umpires. I didn't know they have numbers.
Yep.
And Tim took a screenshot and sent it to me, and that was Will Little umpiring behind home plate.
Who we had on this show, in this showroom.
What, about a month ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, spring training. So, right around spring training. So, he was here, was on the show, and a home plate umpire in the White Sox-Dodgers series.
Yes.
Yeah, and does a great job. And
I didn't see many people boo him, so that's always good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, we know him.
Yes.
So, and I know him, and I know Tim, so I know people.
What's your name?
Freddie Fender. So, wasted days and wasted nights.
Raiders.
The Raiders. Oh, by the way, I had an article with Carmichael as he was here a few minutes ago. The number 1 selling football jersey right now in the NFL is not Tom Brady. It's not Deshaun Watson. It's not any of those. Who do you think it would be? Let me go ahead and tell you. Marshawn Lynch. Who's he playing for?
I don't know.
The Raiders.
I know it's not Kaepernick or whatever.
Colin, I need a haircut, Kaepernick. Boy, he's created well, Michael Vick said, tell that boy to get a haircut. And boy, it has kaboom. People taking sides for him and against him, and it's gotten interesting. So,
well, my position on that, I disagreed with what he did. So,
about the national anthem?
Yeah, I did not like
absolutely.
that.
I'm totally against that.
I was not happy, and it's come back to bite him a little bit.
It should. I had a father who fought in war. Don't get me going. Semper Fi World War II in the Solomon Wake Islands, who would have the privilege to stand up and salute that flag. So if you don't like it, you can go north, you can go south, but if you're an American, you should respect that flag. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And he didn't, and therefore Wouldn't go across the road to watch Colin Kaepernick. That's just me. So there you go.
Tell us how you really feel.
There you go. Don't get me jacked up because, whoo.
Guess what's in a month?
Christmas.
Well, it will be for the Bristol Motor Speedway.
You got it. Yeah, I did a little research the other night. I wanted to impress you. So last year, truck race winner Ben Kennedy, Chevrolet. Bush's Beans 150, Eric Goodell, Chevrolet. Food City 300, Austin Dillon,
Chevrolet.
bow tie. Kevin Harvick last August, Bass Pro Shop NRA night race,
Chevrolet.
bow tie. Sweep across the board. Chevrolets. Of course, it's the official
It's
car.
a Chevrolet track.
Yep. Official manufacturer of the Speedway, Chevrolet. And so I have the countdown. It is, in fact, I can tell you, 27 days of the truck race, 29 days to the Food City 300, and 30 days out to the Bass Pro Shop.
I can tell you're getting excited.
I am getting excited.
I'll be camping.
I was just getting ready to say, as I reported yesterday, all the camping is sold out. They're on a waiting list for the tents, for the RVs. This is on-property campgrounds that Speedway has. Everything is sold out on a waiting list. A month out, it's going to be a big crowd.
You better get your tickets. I mean, if you don't have tickets, you better get them because it's going to be big.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be in both races, he being Dale Jr. 423 Bristol, BristolTix.com.
TIX.
TIX, thank you. Bristol Tix. Here, is this him coming out?
Oh, yeah. Well, at least she did stop the car. My wife has a
and
meeting.
he's about to be a babysitter here for a little while.
Yeah.
And there's 3 coming.
Yeah,
so.
My daughter had a friend spend the night last night. So.
Okay, here they come.
Yeah, Haley had a.
about to hit, and she just moves on.
Daddy's daycare is operating for the next hour and a half, or probably knowing Haley, she'll go to lunch afterwards.
Oh yeah,
and,
you'll see her about 5:30 or 6.
Yeah.
So there they are. There's one of them right there.
You see?
There you go again. Look at him. Oh, they don't look like their mama, do they? No. Goodness gracious. So, anyway, the Dietrichs have landed.
Yeah. Yeah, they're in the house.
It's like
watch out.
Apollo 19, the lunar module.
I've already called and warned everybody here because Haley texts me and she goes, "Do you think maybe they can stay in your office while I'm at my meeting?" And I said, "FYI, my office means running everywhere like mad little children."
She said, "Love you, mean hugs and kisses."
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. They.
Yeah. Now, how does Tim okay with this?
Oh well, Tim's kids grew up here too.
Okay, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, it's all good. I mean, his
big family.
Yeah, and I've told everybody if my kids are doing something they're not supposed to, please tell them to stop.
Yeah, calm them down.
And I will promise I will not say a word.
Exactly.
Yes.
Just take full liberty to jack them up if need be.
Yes, make sure they behave somewhat.
Yeah. Now the last time what's the little boy's name?
Hudson.
Hudson was here. He was doing the fidget spinner on his nose, his ears, and doing all over. So we've moved on from that, right?
No, I'd say he's probably got 17 fidget spinners now. I mean, I don't know how many fidget spinners is too many.
Nah, he's a kid. Let him be a little boy. So I'm gonna be a little boy.
Yeah.
Let him. You know that they grow up quick. So we're talking to our buddy Andy Dietrich. So we saw Will Little at the ball game, and were you the one that saw Steve Spurrier, or Kristen saw Steve Spurrier?
Well, Kristen had a picture when I guess Spurrier was at one of the games last year, Science Hill game, home games, and he sat behind them, but it showed Steve Spurrier in the paper yesterday down, I guess, on the sidelines, just talking to the players, and her son was the one in the, it says as number 3, I believe, Colby, and you couldn't see his face, you saw his back and his helmet was on, but you saw Spurrier's face, and he had his hands on the guys, talking to them, and it was a really neat picture.
There you go. Good stuff. We're on to Andy Dietrich coming up. We got Dave Angie at the top of the hour. Of course, we are going to August the 17th, the maiden voyage of the Champion Chevrolet 5-star football preview. Angie's going to co-host that with me. We're going to do it here every week in the lobby of the showroom, of course, of Champion Chevrolet. Very excited about that. Football is up and running. High schools are practicing right now, and so some are in pads, some are in helmets. Most are in helmets and shorts. Some are in pads right now. So it is hammer time to get ready for high school football. There's Hudson. Hello, Hudson. How you doing, buddy? Good. You having a good summer?
Yeah. So, yes, sir.
Did you go to Wrigley Field and see the Cubs play?
Yes. Well, no, he saw James Taylor at Wrigley Field.
Oh, he saw James Taylor?
And then what baseball game?
The
White Sox.
White Sox and the Dodgers, right? Yeah.
And how close did a foul ball come to hitting us?
Dad close to getting hit by a foul ball.
Yes.
Did you catch it? Did your dad catch it? Your dad didn't catch it, did he?
No, the man in front of us did.
Did your dad get down to the seat? He's scared, or did he try and catch it?
I think he was getting my nachos.
He's getting my nachos. While everybody's looking at the ball, Daddy's eating Hudson's
eating
nachos.
Did he try and catch the ball, Hudson? No, he was eating nachos. Okay, gotcha. So, good stuff. When do they go back to school, by the way?
In 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It's like the 2nd or 3rd, I believe.
2nd, 3rd of August. Ridiculous.
It's too quick, and they need to.
Ridiculous.
I remember, we used to go the week before Labor Day.
Labor Day, Memorial Day, when I was a kid.
Yeah, and I hate it. Even though, I hate it for them. I wish they had a little longer summer.
Yeah.
I wish that we had a year of summer.
A year of summer? Yeah, that would make sense.
I like Hudson.
When would you go to school?
He wouldn't.
For a year.
Go a year and be off a year.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's
Be even.
Yeah.
be even. Yeah, makes sense.
He's
very smart.
He's ciphering. Go a year, be off a year. I like that. All right, so tell me some specials. I know you got to get back over there and be daddy.
Herd cats.
Herding cats. I didn't say that. Yeah, well, I've been there. I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
I had a front row seat. So
Daddy's Daycare's operating here at Champion Chevrolet. You need to drop your kid off. Just drop them off.
Dietrich Daycare.
We'll take care of them here at Champion
Tim and
Chevrolet.
Andy.
Take care of your children. How do we do that?
Dietrich
I don't know.
All right, go ahead.
We've still got for the rest of this month $11,000 off LT double cab and crew cab Silverado 2017 models. That's $11,000 off MSRP. Got $4,500 off select 2017 Impalas, $5,000 off select 2017 Cruises. We have 17 Traverses, the last body style. They're changing it new for 18. We've got over $7,000 off select the last year, or the last year of this body style. So $7,000 off several of those. We've got $4,000 off on select Colorados. I've got over $8,000 off of select Corvettes. $5,300 off select 2017 Malibus. Big rebates and discounts, and rates are still crazy low. With approved credit, it's great.
Give me a sales pitch on the Colorado. What's the selling points of a Chevrolet Colorado?
If you don't, let's say you have a maybe a smaller driveway or smaller garage, or if you just don't want to drive a full-size pickup truck, but you still need to have a bed and maybe even still have room to haul people, Colorado's a step down from the Silverado. It's sort of your mid-size truck. It's the same size as the Toyota Tacoma. It's in that segment there, and it's been very, very popular. It's been a hit since this new body style was introduced 2 years ago. But you can get it in two-wheel or four-wheel drive and extended cab or crew cab configurations. They do not make it. This new body style does not come in a regular cab, so you got to get in the double cab or a crew cab. But it's been a hit. The styling of it's been phenomenal. They've just come out with an off-road edition called the ZR2, which has got a special shock absorbers all the way around it that can constantly adjust and can be adjusted on it. And you can also buy a Colorado in a diesel and get over 30 miles per gallon in a pickup truck.
Got them on sale. What's the sale price? What's
this one here listed for $30,645, or discount at $4,000 to $26,645. We also have it's springtime. It's still summertime, so we have 2017 Camaros select ones, $5,200 off MSRP.
You were telling me last time that you have more Corvettes than probably anybody else around, right?
It might be a 2 or 3 state around us. There's over 20 Corvettes here on the ground. We always try to keep them because if you don't have them, you can't sell them. And the people wanting to buy them want to have some options. And we've got different colors. We have the Z06s. We have the Grand Sports, and then we have the base model Stingrays. So anything from the $60,000 range all to the $100,000 range, we've got them.
Dave Angie from the Johnson City Press has walked in. We'll talk a little sports with Angie. Sports writer with the JC Press, as we said. So it's all good. So with all the vehicles you're selling new, that leaves you with a good inventory of pre-owned vehicles. Tell me about that.
Yes, and I've noticed when I rolled back in here this morning, our used car inventory is now piled up almost to the service department. So we've sold, like yesterday we sold 9 cars, and sometimes we'll get people that'll trade in 2 cars on one of ours. So we've had that happen several times this month, which is a great problem. I like to trade for cars, used cars, because a lot of people don't want to buy a new car. So I want to have used cars from them to look at that are low mileage. one owner, two owner vehicles that have been kept here in the area that have a story with them, that we can find out history on them.
Yeah, when I bought mine last September, I can't believe it's getting ready to come up on a year, but love it, man.
About time for you to buy a Suburban.
May have to. I'm looking at Colorado. I'm looking for something I can put more of my equipment in because we're getting ready to go to West Virginia Monday and do.
Yeah, you need some. You need something a little bigger.
Yeah, so maybe doing that because it may be time. But I look at these and I see, case in point, some of these just jump around. There's a Jeep Patriot Latitude. There's a Chevrolet Malibu 2015 LT TLT. Let's see, we got a Chevrolet Cruze Premier 2016. You've got them down on this side. You've got a 2001 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS. Wow, that's a throwback car. Monte Carlo SS 2001. You've got a Chevrolet Equinox LT,
one LT package. Yeah, it's an LT with the one LT package. Yep. So
that's you got that. It was a pre-owned. Here's a Chevrolet Camaro SS. 2010 model, so really what you need, whatever your budget allows. And can
I've got a little bit of everything right now. We've got, even cargo vans, work trucks. If you need a commercial vehicle, we have a slew of them. So it's got something for everybody. And we're still trading like 9 cars yesterday. I think we got 9 or 10 trade-ins on 9 cars sold yesterday. So
he said they're piled up.
They are piled up. So, and we always say I'm not in love with any of them.
No,
so
move them out.
They look pretty and all, but they need a home.
You got it. I was talking to my buddy yesterday, came over here back in the spring, bought a pre-owned vehicle, a Jeep, called and talked to Tim and worked the deal over the phone, and boom, next thing you know, he's a proud owner of a Jeep coming off the lot as a pre-owned. So one more time, tell folks you are looking for some, the team is growing, looking for some
oil and lube technicians and service technicians. This is not like one spot each we have to fill. We have several. We're bursting at the seams, need more great quality people to take care of our growing demand in our service department. So people keep
4447, 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show live at Champion Chevrolet. There he is, our buddy Dave Angie again with the Johnson City Press. And this is going to be our home starting August the 17th. Going to be here every Thursday with the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview. Dave and I are going to co-host the show, and we'll be doing it. The first show is going to be race week, so we'll do it here during the day from 11 to 1 on the 17th. And then after that, it'll be every Thursday night from 6 to 8. From starting on August 24th, and so we're going to preview. He's going to preview the Big 7, which will include the Dobbinsville and Science Hills games every week. Doug Fritz has already said he's going to preview for us by phone the other big games around the area. With let's see how many classes we got in football now. We got
I think
5,
quite a few. Yeah,
5 classes. So he's going to take Class 5A, and Doug's going to hop around and do the other big games in the other classification each week. Then we've got previews coming up for the Hokies of Virginia Tech, the Volunteers of Tennessee, the Buccaneers of East Tennessee State, and Carmichael's going to preview all the top 5 college football games every week, and then he and I are going to challenge you in the picking panel. And we're working on that. We're going to have a chance for you to try and beat us on the picking panel every Thursday, which I quite frankly think you're not going to be able to do. So, and I want to say hello to JT Holloman and Carter Davison and Steve DeBall. And so we'll start the picking panel. We're going to put our very weighty brains together because we are very into it as far as sports. And so, and so then you're supposed to be chiming in and say, yes, we are.
Yes, no, you're speaking for yourself here is what that's called. You didn't need me at that moment.
Limb, and I hear the limb breaking. I'm out on the end of the limb and I hear it cracking. So
I wasn't rolling my eyes back here. I was nodding in agreement. No, we're this finely tuned sports machines, I think is what we are.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Well oiled.
Yeah.
So,
don't feel bad if you enter and don't win.
That's exactly right, because you're not going to win, because we're going to whoop you about every week. So we'll start that on August the 17th, the picking panel, and so it'll be you against us. And if you beat us, then you're going to win a nice little prize, and we got that working it up too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. August the 17th. Dave was gracious enough to come by today, because yesterday we were at Mike's Medicine Mart. We'll be back on our regular location on Wednesday next week at Chick-fil-A. Monday, tomorrow will be Food City in Churchill, and the Food City Friday Midnight Madness. Monday, we're going to be in West Virginia, literally, in South Charleston, West Virginia, at Hardee's, broadcasting live up there. We'll be talking to some Marshall folks, some West Virginia University folks, some Fellowship Christian Athlete folks from up there. Also got some folks back down here we're going to be talking to, so it's a one-day trip back home to hang out with.
That's where we're at in the sport right now.
So William Byron has to wait. I thought Matt Kenseth is going to be there. That tells me that's going to maybe get tougher for him to get a ride next year. You still have maybe Casey Kane out there. There's some uncertainty about that ride. He's lost a couple of key sponsors. Obviously, the word is the 77 ride may not have enough sponsorship dollars to have 2 teams next year to run beside Martin Truex Jr. now that Eric Jones is back with Gibbs. So, I don't know. What's that do for Matt Kenseth?
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I don't see a landing spot for him at the moment. He's a guy that's not just going to drive anything. That doesn't seem to me to fit his personality. And, what's funny about this is it was probably about 7 or 8 years ago I talked to Kenseth on the phone one day and I said, we were talking about Mark Martin because Mark Martin was obviously his mentor in the sport, and Martin was just getting ready to hang it up completely at that point, and he was in his 50s. And I asked Kenseth, I said, you ever thought about how long you want to drive? He just laughed and said, there's no way in the world I'm going to drive when I'm as old as Mark Martin. And of course he's got a son who races. Ross is kind of getting his career up and running, and Matt's taken more interest in kind of getting him going lately. So I think that's where the focus is going to go for him. I don't think he has any patience for getting in a car that he's going to run around and try to get into the top 20. He's not going to run something underfunded. He'll head off to pasture before that happens. So, but like I've said about Kenseth before, he's a guy you're not going to expect a farewell tour from him. He's not ever going to do that. He said the way he wants to do it is one year everybody's going to show up at Daytona and he won't be there. Everybody will look around and say, where's Kenseth at? And he'll be off somewhere enjoying himself and enjoying his money. So, I'd say that may be how it works, and it may happen come next Daytona.
Maybe. Again, we're talking again our buddy Dave Andre, the Johnson City Press on the screen. As a matter of fact, last night, speaking of NASCAR, the Camping World Truck Series, the Eldora Dirt Derby in Rossburg, Ohio. Of course, Mike Hitter gave us a great preview of that race yesterday. Won last night by Matt Crafton. Hadn't won since last May at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Crafton using a late race restart, 18 laps from the finish, and a strategy to go where the others aren't. Crafton muscled past veteran dirt racer Stuart Friesen to win last night's 5th annual Eldora Dirt Derby, 150, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race at Eldora Speedway in Ohio, which is, as you know, Tony Stewart's track. So, again, got his first victory since Charlotte Motor Speedway last May. So, Matt Crafton been in a drought and got him a big W. And with that now, things tighten up a little bit with the old leadership. You have Johnny Sauter with only a 7-point lead now over Christopher Bale. Chase Briscoe is currently 3rd. Matt Crafton's up to 4th, and Grant Enfinger is now 5th in the points. And so everything quiet today for the NASCAR series, except the announcement, excuse me, that you heard about Alex Bowman. So everything quiet right now in Indianapolis, but tomorrow they kick it in with Xfinity Series practice, and of course Saturday you've got Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series practice and pole qualifying, and of course everything gets ready for the racing coming up on Saturday and Sunday. the Brantley Gilbert Big Machine Brickyard 400. Brantley Gilbert is a country music singer, which I thought was an interesting sponsor of the race. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign for NASCAR. You got people now stepping up instead of corporate and sponsoring races. I guess it's okay. I mean, he's getting all kinds of notoriety. Here I am sitting in East Tennessee talking about the Brantley Gilbert Big Machine Brickyard 400. Is that a good sign or a bad sign for NASCAR?
It's the first time I've heard that name. I'll tell you that. You know, I'm not sure what it means from a financial standpoint, because I think a person would have a hard time kicking in the money that they were used to getting. And of course, we know with the latest deal with Monster Energy was a big cut in money from what they had with Sprint in the past. So yeah, it's scaling back a little bit. We've seen other sports do that. You know, and it can help the health of the sport. We've talked a few times about the NHL when they went through, you know, they got really big in the 90s. They got too big, you know, and they moved to parts of the country they shouldn't have been in. And, you know, they were really struggling from a financial standpoint. They had a long, extended, you know, lockout of the players till they could get everything recalibrated, you know, move some teams back up north, shift some things around, kind of recalibrate how much they pay people. Now they're a healthy sport again, you know, and it's really helped the sport. So for NASCAR, I think they have some of the similar problems the NHL did in a lot of ways. You know, I think, you know, the money is going to scale back a little bit. Drivers are going to have to get used to that. Teams, everybody's going to have to adjust and adapt to it, you know, and then move forward kind of at a more grassroots level and be a little bit healthier. So yeah, not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm sure those who are used to making more are, you know, not as happy about it as some other people.
You look at a couple of more teams, and I'll get his take on this before we take a break, and we'll switch gears, talk a little college football. But again, 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Team out of Daniel Suarez and the 41 of Kurt Busch, both penalized for, again, lug nuts not properly being installed in last week's race in New Hampshire. Violations discovered during post-race inspection. Per the infraction, the NASCAR rulebook, Scott Graves, crew chief for Suarez, and Tony Gibson, crew chief for Kurt Busch, each fined excuse me, $10,000. And so the number 19 finished 6th, and the 41 by Kurt Busch finished 8th in the race. So it's almost a weekly thing now, lug nut problems. What in the world's going on with this?
Well, it has to do with, you know, the problem that NASCAR has been struggling with for years, which is you cannot pass hardly under green flag conditions unless you're on a restart. So the race has come down to two things, and Keselowski said this at Kentucky, which kind of got him in hot water because he was really outspoken about how bad the quality of racing is, you know, under green flag conditions, especially mile-and-a-half tracks. But you know, the only place you make up positions now in NASCAR is if you get on pit road and get off before everybody else, and then when that restart comes, you drive like crazy for 5 to 10 laps to pick up as many positions as you can. Then you're pretty well safe because it's going to be hard for somebody to get around you, unless you do something stupid, just because of the way the you know, everything's working now with the clean air and everything else. So the races come down to pit road and restarts, and when you know that, all the race teams are focusing on, okay, how can we get those lug nuts on there, you know, 1,000th of a second faster than other people? Because if you do that for every lug nut, you know, you're going to make up enough time to where you're going to pick up 5 positions off pit road, which makes a huge difference in championship and everything else. If that's the only place you can pass, then that's where all the teams are focusing, and that's where they're going to try to work in the gray area and do whatever they can do to get away with stuff. So, and that's my personal theory on why we've seen so many of these penalties this year. You know, first of all, NASCAR's cracked down on it. Second of all, that's the only place other than drivers on the restarts where you can really make up time.
Joe Gibbs gets the drought finished last week, or ended, I should say, as Denny Hamlin brings on the checkers, and so now they moved to Indianapolis, where Kyle Busch was a doubleheader winner a year ago. He won the Xfinity Series race and came back and sat on the pole and won the Indianapolis race last year, and so he'll try the double dip again this year. The Xfinity Series race, the Lilly Diabetes 250, runs on Saturday afternoon at 3:30, and then the Brantley Gilbert Big Machine Brickyard 400 runs on Sunday afternoon at 2:30 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And so we'll see how those roll out. And of course, the buzz continues right up the road here, about 12 or 13 miles at Bristol Motor Speedway. As we told you yesterday and told you again earlier today, all the on-property campgrounds and camping that the Speedway's in charge of are all sold out on the waiting list. So a month out, they have all the camp RVs, the tents, everything, pop-ups, everything you can use as a camping opportunity at Bristol Motor Speedway on property, not off property, but the ones the Speedway are in charge of are all on a sold-out waiting list. Tells me that, and I know we talked to Drew Bedard on Monday on the show, talked to Landon Owen last week on the show, the director of ticket sales, and they both said, and this is not hype, folks, I'm telling you, it's going to be a big crowd. It's Junior's going to last run. We've heard that over and over and over. He'll be on the Friday night race with the Food City 300, and of course the Bass Pro Shop NRA night race on Saturday night. And the stage being set for a huge crowd, which these guys and ladies work their tails off at BMS to put on a great shows. They deserve a big crowd, and it's all signs point. So 423 Bristol, BristolTix.com, or 1-866-415-4158 are the numbers for you to get your tickets from Bristol Motor Speedway. So it has all the makings of a big weekend.
Oh, it's an absolute spectacle. You know, everything that the folks at Bristol Motor Speedway have done with this August race, it is absolutely unbelievable. It's breathtaking. I mean, watching it on television doesn't do it justice. I think there's a few places where you watch races, at the mile and a half tracks and whatnot, where you see the cars, they disappear, then they come back a few seconds later. A lot of the action you don't see, but at Bristol you see all of it, and then to have it under the lights too. I mean, it just adds so much more to it than what you see in the spring. Even in the spring, I thought this race in the spring they had, this is the most exciting I think I've covered in 12 years. I mean, it was really a lot of fun, but you just can't. There's no substitute for dusk, when the national anthem is done, and all the spectacle of that, the fireworks going off, and then you get the race started, all the sparks, everything that happens under the lights, it just kind of adds to the experience. And Bristol's done a wonderful job. When you buy a ticket there's so much going on around that property, in terms of entertainment value for your family. I mean, you get out there early in the morning, there's stuff for you to do all day. There's music, there's opportunity to meet drivers, there's wonderful food, all sorts of stuff going on around there. And then the icing on the cake, and it's really good icing, is that you get a good 500-mile race at the end of the day. So yeah, absolutely understandable why everybody's clamoring to get out there.
And the other thing too, before we go to the break, and we'll switch and talk a little college football, the racing action for kids 12 and under are free on Wednesday night, the doubleheader, the UNO H200 with the Truck Series and the Bush's Beans 150 and the Wheeling Modifieds. There's 350 laps of free racing for a kid. Free night on Wednesday night. On Friday night, Food City 300, when Dale Jr. is going to be in the field, all kids 12 and under get in free. And then on Saturday, the big race, America's Night Race, as Charlie Daniels says in the commercial that you hear here on the show, they just pay $10. So, yeah. I mean, it is a no-brainer to take your kids up there. And yes, it's obvious they want to get the younger generation involved in NASCAR. Why would you not? That's the future. But I think Bristol's doing a great job. Free on Wednesday for 350 laps. Free on Friday night for 300 laps. You can do the math. That's 650 laps of free racing for kids 12 and under. And then on Saturday, you pay $10 for the best race, night race in all of NASCAR, at the best track in all of NASCAR.
The other thing about that, too, is, a lot of people say, well, I don't know if my kids are going to sit there for 500 laps. My kids are squirrely. Not me. My kid. I don't mean anything bad about Fiona, but other people, they say my kids are squirrely. They might not sit there. Well, they have these kid zones set up around inside the track in the concourse there, places where the kids can go blow off some steam, during cautions, play a little bit, and they're just completely kid friendly. What they've done in that aspect has been huge. And then, like you say, $10 tickets for that race Saturday, man. It's no excuse not to take the family out.
There you go. One more time, phone numbers 423 Bristol here locally. Out of town, it's 1-866-415-4158, and then the easiest thing to do, I guess, on the computer is BristolTix.com. How did you apply Blue Lizard on her yesterday? What did you say you did to her?
Oh, coated her in it. Yeah, no primer. You don't need primer either. Just one coat. Send them out there, and they're not going to come back sunburned. I'll guarantee that.
It's just so much. It's just about an inch thick on her. She can't hardly move. Thank you, Daddy. You're welcome, honey. So. We'll take a break. We'll talk college football next with our buddy Dave Angie. Coming up, we'll hear from Kevin Harmon, the UT Sports Update, specifically talking Tennessee football and the SEC East. We're going to analyze it team by team. And also, Kristen Martin's going to join us coming up here in a little while with internet sales from Champion Chevrolet here on show number 561 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications and 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE master technicians here. With the ratio, it goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop, so it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import and Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Base Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Base Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Base Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitat, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.basemountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Douglas Sports Show. There you are. Today is the last day to get your name in the bucket to win 2 tickets to Dollywood. We'll give those away tomorrow. All you have to do, as you see on the screen, is go to TomDouglasSports.com/contest, and we'll announce those tomorrow. Thanks to Jeremy Livesey, JeremyLivesey.com. So if you have not put your name in the bucket to win tickets to Dollywood, why would you not? They're absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. First name, last name, town you're from, and email address. If you win, we contact you. It's just that simple. And so we would encourage you to do that. Today is the last day. We got 6 or 7 states represented. Then Monday, we turn right around and start getting you qualified to take you to Bristol and see the Food City 300 with Dale Jr. and even the Bass Pro Shop NRA night race as well. So good stuff. That'll start on Monday. We'll be live in West Virginia Monday at Hardee's in South Charleston. And pretty cool, going up there and hang out and talk a little Marshall, a little West Virginia, talk a little Tennessee. And so going to kind of carry 2 hats up there. Obviously going to talk a little West Virginia sports and also talk a little Tennessee sports as well. So we'll be there on Monday at Hardee's in South Charleston, West Virginia.
I'm looking forward to that one for you.
I am too.
Here's the deal, and it's interesting to me too, just being from here. What do people outside of Tennessee think of, Butch Jones, University of Tennessee, all that stuff? Sometimes an outside perspective, it's pretty interesting to hear. So yeah, I always enjoy that. Yep,
we're scheduled to talk to a gentleman who's was state runner-up in football. There they played for the state championship game, Spring Valley, the Timberwolves, and lost to Martinsburg for the state championship in football. We're trying to secure the state baseball champion. Got a contact. We'll be talking to them. They won the state championship. It's a pretty interesting story. It was St. Albans defeated Hurricane, and the 2 coaches are almost best buddies, and they got to the state tournament because geographically they're pretty close. It'd almost be like a DB Science Hill here. And so as a result, they had to play each other for the state tournament for the state championship in AAA baseball. So you got to figure out it's kind of bittersweet because one really hated to lose against his best buddies. We're going to hopefully talk to that coach and And we got some other folks lined up, so we'll be there on Monday at Hardee's in North Johnson City, Hardee's in Charleston, South Charleston, West Virginia. So
they have a town up there called Polka. Do you know that?
And called the Dots.
Yeah, that's their mascot, the Polka Dots.
Yep.
Yeah.
That when I was in high school up there, that was our big rival. Was the Polka Dots. It's on the side of the gym. They have this big red dot. It says home of the Dots. The Polka Dots. POCA Dots. Polka Dots. I'm not making it up. You can go to the website and check it out for yourself. Polka High School, POCA, and their nickname is the Dots.
Yep. the Polka Dot, the Fighting Dots.
Fighting Dots, only in West Virginia.
Yep.
There you go. Almost heaven. West Virginia. All right, college football preseason, Big 12. They tapped Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia, top three in that particular order. You okay with that?
Yeah, definitely so. I do think there's questions around Oklahoma just because of the coaching change. That remains to be seen. That's a big unknown. It's always interesting when you get a guy, especially a young guy, who's moving up and kind of taking over that. I kind of call it a CEO position when you're a college football coach, because that head coach is responsible for so much that you really have to be able to delegate well. You go from being a guy who your skills are really getting in there, getting hands on, really developing the game plan, just being with the kids, to where you're somebody that has to delegate to a bunch of assistants, and that's the great unknown when you hire a guy that's been a career assistant, is whether that delegation is going to be a strong suit or not. Because I'll tell you this: if you try to do everything as a head coach in college football and be hands-on and everywhere, you're going to burn yourself out.
Sure.
And you're not going to do a great job, and you just have to have good people under you. So that is the only question mark with Oklahoma for me. I like Oklahoma State at number 2. I love Gundy's mullet that he's grown. He's really got that looking good, I'm telling you. And they got a good football team too. And what I love about the Big 12 is a lot of offense, a lot of stuff going on there. So it's a thrill a minute, and I'm looking forward to that. And West Virginia got a good quarterback from Florida too, so I think they're going to be in good shape.
He is the X factor. Will Greer transferring from Florida, and so the Mountaineers. A lot of excitement. We're going to be talking to some folks from West Virginia up there on Monday. So here's the Big 12. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Kansas State, Texas, interestingly enough, got picked preseason number 5 in the Big 12.
Yep.
Then comes TCU, Baylor with their problems continuing. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech, Iowa State, and Kansas are your top to bottom 1 through 10. There's a championship game this year for the Big 12. And on the hot seat, didn't realize his record was so sketchy, Cliff Kingsbury, the head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, 13-23 inside the conference in the last 4 seasons. Their defense gave up 43 points a game last season.
Yeah.
So heat's on for the guy that's predicted to win, finish number 8.
Yeah, definitely so. And you start looking at the teams further down on that list. I think Texas has some upside, if you're looking at a dark horse team in the league, because I think Charlie Strong there was really starting to build some talent, and I think Herman can coach. So sometimes you see a situation where a guy comes in and people think there's going to be a rough transition period, but if the players are there and the coach is able to kind of pick up who can do what quick enough, you can have a very special season happen and something go on, to where you finish higher than what people expect. Now, it's curious to me how they're going to blend and how they're going to mesh with his style and their style, but I think it's going to be smoother than people think, and they could be a team that finishes higher. But you look at Texas Tech, and man, they had so much work to do defensively and everything else. And I think the top of the league is so strong, it's probably not going to be a good situation for the Red Raiders this year.
In Oklahoma, you think Stoops is done? You think the guy just kind of suddenly walked away from the sport? You think he's still got some coaching left in the tank?
Yeah, sometimes with these guys is they think they're done until they get a year off and start getting rejuvenated, and a lot of them, and I believe Stoops might be going into some broadcast work, but a lot of them stay close enough to the game that way. And, I would have almost sworn to you that Urban Meyer was done. Then he goes to ESPN, and you could tell in the booth about halfway through the year, he started talking like, man, I could get out here and do this. You could just hear kind of a change in his voice, and lo and behold, he did. Unfortunately for Michigan, he decided to get back into it, and we're living with it now. But yeah, definitely, I think he's a guy that sometimes you just need to recharge the batteries, especially when you go as hard for as long as he has. And I'd expect to see him back, especially if a really attractive job opens up here in the near future.
ACC, let's take a look at that before I let you go. Again, the ACC. Again, the Atlantic Division in this order: Florida State, Clemson, Louisville, NC State, Wake Forest, Syracuse, Boston College. You okay with those, or you change some?
Oh yeah, and I really, what the ACC has done in football in recent years has been just outstanding. I think they're really on the rise. I know there's a lot of talk at media days about them catching the SEC, but we'll have to see how that pans out because I know there's a lot of great teams there. Of course, Clemson, the reigning national champion, they're not even picked to win their division, because Florida State I think is absolutely loaded. That would be my favorite to win the championship this year. And good news for all college football fans, we get to find out early because I get to mix it up with Alabama right away. We'll find out who's who pretty quick. But you go down through that list. Louisville, obviously what they did last year, they're going to be a great football team. Virginia Tech is on the rise. I think the fact they're picked fourth shows in their division there shows just how just how strong it is. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it turns out.
Bulletin board material, I would think Dabo Swinney would say, guys, here we are, defending national champions. They picked us second behind Florida State, so that may be something for them. I'm sure it's up there on the bulletin board. In the Coastal Division, you got Miami, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, the Pitt Panthers, North Carolina, Duke, and Virginia in that order. Hurricanes, again, on the second year for Mark Richt, and again, Georgia's loss is Miami's gain, so these guys are preseason number one in the Coastal Division. Then come the Hokies, then comes Georgia Tech, and the Pitt Panthers, the top four. You okay with those?
Yeah, it's exciting to look at that list and see what you got there. And, I think that people in the ACC are furious at Georgia. It's like, why'd you get rid of Richt? Because as good as Richt was at Georgia, and I don't believe he should have gotten fired. I think he was a great coach at Georgia. But that man was tailor-made to coach at Miami and to recruit down in Florida. And you put him down in the middle of it, and give him a storied program like that, it's not going to be long. They're going to be right back up there with Florida State and Clemson, mixing it up. And like I said, huge fan of Virginia Tech, and I think Georgia Tech. Now there's a team there that Tennessee sees early in the year, and that's one you don't want to overlook. I mean, they're not there yet, but they're going to play some pretty serious football. And ACC overall, I think, really is on the rise, and it's really exciting to see it kind of spread out a little bit. You see some, the Big Ten coming up. You see the ACC rising up a little bit, and then of course SEC is what it always has been. So.
It's going to be good. Again, a co-host of our show coming up on August 17th, our buddy Dave Onge is going to be right here at Champion Chevrolet, the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview. Can't wait. High school football right now. What's going on? We're practicing. Well, where are we as far as the timeline for high school?
Well, we're getting into there's some scrimmage stuff coming up, starting to mix it up. It's interesting. The school calendar's shifted a little bit, so everything else has shifted with it. I was over at Science Hill the other day talking to Keith Turner over there, and they have a band camp. The band kids were out, and I'm like, man, it's only we're mid-late July right now. That used to not happen till early August, but everybody's kind of getting it going early. Everything starts a little bit earlier, but scrimmage is coming up. Going to be interesting to see people mix it up, and there's been some 7-on-7 stuff going on, so they're getting in full swing. And I can't tell you, to me, I'm always really excited about football. Anytime the toe meets the leather, I'm fired up anyway. But I just think with the way they've kind of reclassified, and you get a few more games with local teams, I think it's gonna make for a more exciting year, bigger crowds, I think, because there's a lot of teams that aren't having to travel quite as far for league games as they were a year ago. So hopefully that gets it up and going. But either way, man, I'm gonna be fired up either way. So
it's going to be called the Big Seven this year. The Science Hill DB Conference.
I think it's what are they doing? Is it Big East still? Are they still the Big East, or are they?
Big Seven. It's not the Big Seven. It's never the Big Seven.
Yeah, it's just been Big East for
Big
a while,
East,
but
I get the Big Seven. My apology. Big East. So
it might be. All I know is they kicked Maryville out, so everybody's happy about that because you don't have to see them till down the road some way. So
who do you see dominating the Big East right now? Science Hill.
Ooh, I think it's early. The thing for me is I'm going to reserve judgment until I go out and I get rosters in my hand and start talking to coaches. Sometimes when you get rosters in your hand, you get a surprise or two. And I hear there might be a surprise or two for us when we get the rosters at some schools. I'll leave it at that. But we got to see who's where and who's got what, and then I'll start making predictions.
Science Hill's got a lot of skill set guys. Of course, you got Jalen Adams coming back. They had a huge offensive line. I think they go about 260, 270, even 280 to a man. So they're big, and so I'm looking for big things for Stacy, and we're going to try and get him over here next week and talk. I know he's in operation practice mode, but Dobbins, I think from everything I'm gathering in Kingsport, is in a rebuilding mode still. They should be better, but I don't think they're going to be, from what the DB folks were telling me, where they were back in the quote-unquote glory days. Let's see, who else in the conference? You've got Hardin Valley. They've all kind of reclassified. So you got Hardin Valley.
Yep.
Bearden.
Yep.
Right?
Bearden's in there.
Bearden, Hardin Valley, Science Hill, Dobbins Bennett, Jeff County,
Farragut
Admirals, and then what was the new school? It's Hardin Valley. What's the?
Is it east? Morristown.
Where's the one went down? Had a little brush up, way down there.
Bradley's. No, Bradley's not in it. I don't think, are they?
So,
I should have that in front of me.
I should have it in front of me too.
I'll tell you this. In my defense, man, the TSSAA shuffles the deck like nobody else.
Yeah.
I just got used to the last one. I got used to the last one, and here we are again. We're shuffling it up. But
we'll know by next week. I'll have it for you. So.
Yeah, we definitely will. Next week, I'm going to start going to media days and stuff. We have those coming up, and really excited about that. I think I open up with Jeremy Jenkins over at Daniel Boone, one of my favorites to talk to. He's always so fired up, and they have a lot to be excited about this year too.
Yep. A lot of folks do. New coach in Crockett, Gerald Sensabaugh, so there's lots going on. And, of course, Coach Lockup at Sullivan East and Coach Mays at Tennessee High. And, yeah, it's that time. And everybody, of course, Coach Norris at Sullivan North. And it's all good. Brand new coach at Sullivan South and Coach Hilton. So it is exciting time. Everybody is the champion right now. No pun intended.
No pun intended. I like how you did that.
There you go. Everybody's a champion until they put the toe to the leather. Is that what you said?
Toe to leather, man.
There you go.
Coming up.
Speaking toe to the leather, we're going to take a break, come back, see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And again, he's our co-host of the show. Can't wait. Our first inaugural Maiden Voyage shows will be August the 17th right here at Champion Chevrolet. And again, it's going to go out on Facebook, and we're going to have some other social media hooked up to pass it on, and I think he's going to promote it. He does tweeters and twittens and all that. So
I'm on the Twitter. I'm on the Twitter. You can look for me.
He's on the Twitter twain. He's on the Twitter twain. We'll take a break. We're going to talk to my man Kevin Harmon talking Tennessee football. What's going on in the Big Orange right now, and also zero in on the SEC East next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
This is the place where you can forget all about work for a while and celebrate the good old U.S. of A. And take in the best bumper-banging, fist-waving, hero-making short track race of the year, the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. And kids' tickets are just $10. Be there August 19th, because it ain't just another race. It's Bristol, baby.
Trucks, and more trucks at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. We have a huge selection of over 400 new Silverados to choose from, with over 700 total Chevrolets in stock, with savings that are bigger than our massive selection. Silverado Double and Crew Cab All-Stars, $11,000 off MSRP. Malibu LT, 20% off. 17 Colorado, $19,995. 17 Equinox, $21,445. Don't miss out on one of the best times to buy a new Chevrolet with savings that will leave you asking, how do they do that? At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
We're back at Champion Chevrolet. Andy is calling. Hudson Dietrich, you're needed in the break room. Hudson Dietrich.
Good to meet you, Dave.
So, we're here. We're live. We're on the air. Put them cans on, Kevin Arm. Let's roll. We're here. We're live again at Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City. While he's getting ready, settling in here, let me again tell you one more time there, you need to get on the contest giveaway tomorrow. TomTaylorSports.com/contest. We'll be tomorrow awarding the winner. We'll be at Food City in Churchill on the Midnight Madness sale on Food City Friday at Jason Horton's store down in Churchill. Thanks to JeremyLivesey.com, who, again, gave us the tickets to give away. Thank you, my friend. These are a couple of one-day passes over $100 a piece. And so all you got to do, again, is simply go there, TomTaylorSports.com/contest, and away we go. Good luck. We'll announce that winner tomorrow during the show. There he is, Kevin Harmon, UT Sports Update, and always brought his famous file folder. He puts everything on file folder, and, oh, you broke them down. Okay. Got it on the inside. Look here. He's got them all. Now, here we go. You might be a redneck if you put all your notes, which I love because I keep these file folders for reference points. So there you go. Everything's in the SEC East. So, again, Kev's with us. We're going to be joined by Kristen Martin before we get out of here. But, again, we got a couple of minutes to hang out with Kevin Harmon at UT Sports Update. What's the very latest in Tennessee football? Before we get into breaking down, we'll break down the division team by team. But let's start with UT. What's going on right now?
Well, they're getting ready for fall camp, and they have a camp this weekend. And it's just recruiting, and working out and conditioning, getting ready for fall camp. Summer school started, so you kids are stayed or working out and going into school, and your early enrollees are in. And it won't be long before the second semester of summer school starts, and then you'll have the rest of your players and you'll have your team in. So it's not far. You know what? We're 5 or 6 weeks from kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
Davis starts band camp on August the 9th. For UT, wow. And the first game that they marched, Georgia Tech tickets went on yesterday. I tried to call, and there was no getting through to the 4,000 tickets that Tennessee had left. But I'm kind of glad in a way because they don't tell you where you're sitting; they just send you seats. So it's here. I mean, I'm, got my season tickets and ready to go. His first game was a big one, like Dave said. That Georgia Tech game is not going to be a pushover. And maybe that's something we can do in the following weeks is start looking at the teams outside of the East Division that Tennessee has to play, with Georgia Tech. And, I don't know about Indiana State, Massachusetts, things like that. But, from the SEC West, we play Alabama and LSU, which is very tough. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very tough beating Alabama in Birmingham or in Tuscaloosa. So it's here, and we're going to find out pretty quick what Tennessee's made of.
Here's a big league scoreboard update again for this Thursday afternoon. Games in progress. Bottom of the second, Mets lead the Cardinals 1-0. Top of the first, no surprise, Arizona leads the Reds 3-0. Reds couldn't beat, Jonesboro Little League team. That's no slap on Jonesboro. The Reds are terrible. And then top of the first, no score between the Brewers and the Pirates. Pirates catching fire. Brewers lost 4 in a row, and they see the Cubs breathing down the neck. So
Cubs won 6 in a row.
got it. And, of course, the Dodgers continue to be the hottest team in baseball. They've won 11 straight games, best record in baseball. So that's your very latest on the scoreboard in Big League Baseball. Kristen Martin joins us coming up in a few minutes, the young lady from Internet Sales here at Champion Chevrolet. All right, let's break them down. Let's start with
Who do you want to start with? You want to start at the bottom and work up?
In honor of Tim Copenhaver. Tim, Mr. Copenhaver, can we go ahead? We're going to analyze the SEC East. Can we start at the top of the Florida Gators?
Is he a Gator fan?
Loves the Gators. All right. There you go. Body's playing
one-way tickets.
Yeah. The Florida Gators. All right, jump in there and go. All
right. Well, out of the gate, Florida is ranked 15th pretty much across the board in these polls. And I kind of looked at offense, defense, and sort of gave an overview. The big put pressure on him. They're going to make him go other places with the football. So we'll have to see how that pans out for Florida. But that's the key, I think, to their team is getting good quarterback play, taking the pressure off the defense and keeping them off the field.
They got 5 starters back on defense this year, but with all the injuries they had on the defensive team last year, much like Tennessee, they're going to be a better defensive team because some of the guys got pressed into play, got a year's experience under the belt.
Well, they lost their 2 corners. That's big. They both went to the NFL early, and they've always been able to replace corners, but it's not really known how well and how good these corners are and how they can play in the SEC. So we'll see.
There we go. Again, let's run down the schedule. Just for kicks, the career passing leader at Florida, Chris Leak. The career rushing leader is not Emmitt Smith, it's Eric Redd. And the career receiving leader is Carlos Alvarez. That's your top 3 in passing, rushing, and receiving.
He played a long time ago.
Alvarez 69 through 71.
John Reeves was the quarterback.
Here's your schedule for Florida. They open up with Michigan and Arlington, Texas, neutral field on September the 2nd, same weekend as Alabama and Florida State. Back home for Northern Colorado, back home for Tennessee on September the 16th. They go to Kentucky, wrap up September with Vanderbilt. In October, back-to-back LSU and Texas A&M at home. Whew. Then they have an open day, Georgia and Jacksonville. Then they go to Missouri, then they go to South Carolina, come back home for Alabama, Birmingham, and wrap up the regular season November the 25th in the Swamp against the Seminoles of Florida State. So that's a pretty tough schedule. Michigan, Tennessee, of course it's SEC schedule, Michigan, non-conference, and obviously Florida State non-conference. You open with Michigan and end with Florida State. That's pretty stout. So
it is. You wonder why. I don't know if the SEC does this. They play Tennessee, Florida early. They ought to move Florida State up and let Tennessee, Florida play the last game of the year. It would mean more.
It sure would.
And it would be more on the line. There's by the time you get to Florida State, it's if you play them earlier, I believe the rivalry would enhance a little bit. And plus, it gives you a chance if you were to lose that game to recover. But then Tennessee, Florida, the loser of that game typically is out of the race, even though it didn't happen last year. But typically, so I'm always wondered why they don't move that game.
Jim McElwain, again, the head coach of the Florida Gators in his 3rd season, 19-8 at Florida, at home in the Swamp, 11-1. Whew. So there you go. Pretty tough to beat him at home in the Swamp. We'll see if Tennessee can do that on September the 16th. Switching gears, go to the next team. We're analyzing the SEC East, and we're kind of getting the thumbnail. We can get a whole lot deeper into each team, but the meter's running, and Kristen Martin wants to be on the show, and I get that. So Georgia Bulldogs up next to analyze the Dogs. What do you think?
Well, I think a lot depends on Easton this year. You got Easton and Jake Fromm as your quarterback. Easton was kind of disappointing last year. He could have had a lot more interceptions than he actually did. He only hit 55% of his passes. Big name coming out of Washington, and I hear he's not the hardest worker in the world. We'll see if he's changed his mindset on that. They're bringing back Chubb. They're bringing back Sony Michel. They've lost 3 of their top offensive linemen, so they have to replace those guys. The key is their line play, and they lost Isaiah McKenzie, so they've lost their most dynamic receiver. So replacing him, using the tight end, which is Isaac Nauta. He's a true sophomore this year, had a great freshman year, and taking some of the pressure off Easton, not having to throw and not having to throw the ball downfield as much. Georgia's got the running game. If they can find the offensive line to block for those guys, and Georgia can stay on the field, but their defense is what's going to make it for them. Their defense looks very, very tough this year. They were 16th nationally last year. They returned all but 1 starter. They're going to be very tough defensively. They have good pass rushers. They got Trent Thompson and Jonathan Ledbetter on the line. They're going to be very tough defensively. And they come to Knoxville, we always play them tough, but their defense this year, and they keep loading up with recruits, so we'll see how well they can coach them. The weak spot seems to be their offense, and can their offense stay on the field long enough to give their defense rest and let their defense operate? Their kicking game is sort of suspect, but the key this year for Georgia is that defense and keeping that defense healthy, and being able to have the offense keep the defense rested so they can do their job.
10 returning starters on defense this year, and again returning about 87% of their tackles. Defensive linemen, linebackers, and defensive backs, some of those regarded as recruiting-wise the best in the Southeastern Conference. So Kirby Smart's got them loaded up and ready to go, and Georgia's not been to the SEC title game since 2012. Here's their schedule. They open up with Appalachian State at home, then they go to Notre Dame, back home for Samford, open conference play against Mississippi State, then come right back and go to Knoxville to battle Tennessee, or come to Knoxville. Then they go to Vanderbilt. Also in October, they got Missouri for homecoming. Then October the 28th, which is the big game everybody's talking about, Florida in Jacksonville. Then in November, you have South Carolina, at Auburn, Kentucky, and then at Georgia Tech. That's a pretty tough schedule. At Notre Dame, at Tennessee, Florida, at Auburn, and at Georgia Tech. It's a pretty solid schedule for
It's a
Georgia.
solid schedule. It's a tough road schedule, and it seems like Florida's had their number lately. And that's another game I don't understand. Why they play that thing in Jacksonville, and why they don't do a home and home, I don't know.
They're talking about the world's largest cocktail party, which
they're trying to get away from that.
Yeah. Trying to downplay the drinking.
I'm not sure why they don't do a home and home with that. But the Georgia's defense is going to be stout. If their offense can just generate some points, they're going to be tough to beat. And they would be my pick to win the SEC East over Florida right now. But the question mark is that offense. Can Eason improve on last year? He wasn't that great last year. He made some great throws, but overall he didn't manage the team very well. Had some costly turnovers. He could have had many more picks than he had. I think he threw 8. He could have had many more. So his improvement is going to go a long way to how far Georgia can actually go.
Going to Kevin Harmon, talking a little SEC East. Next we'll go to South Carolina and analyze the Gamecocks of Will Muschamp. Again, they're coming off a 6-7 campaign last year. They won their last game beating South Florida in the Birmingham Bowl, 46-39 in overtime. Again, Muschamp in his second season at South Carolina, and so here is their schedule. They will open up with NC State in Charlotte, non-conference game on September the 2nd. Then they open up conference play at Missouri, then Kentucky at home, Louisiana Tech non-conference game. Then they go to Texas A&M. Then they have Arkansas at home, then at Tennessee. Man, they got a brutal schedule. Look at that one. At Texas A&M, Arkansas, and at Tennessee in a row. Open date, Vanderbilt's homecoming. Then South Carolina goes to Georgia in November. They host Florida. They come back home to Wofford, which, again, is preseason #1 pick in the Southern Conference. Then they wrap things up at home against Clemson. So NC State, Louisiana Tech, Wofford, and Clemson are your non-conference. It's pretty stout. South Carolina.
Man, anytime you play Clemson, it's going to be stout. I think Clemson game this year is actually in South Carolina. Or
Yeah,
is
it's in Columbia.
It's in Columbia. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to have Vanderbilt as Vanderbilt's an up-and-coming team. To have them as your homecoming team. I don't know. South Carolina found their quarterback last year in Jake Bentley. He started that first game against Tennessee, and then they rolled through the rest of the year and did very well. They're going to be tough offensively. They got Debo Samuels as wide out. He's a good ball player. They have good running backs. They have a good offense. They're going to be able to generate some points and keep some football. Their weakness is defense. Mm-hmm. Last year they couldn't stop anybody, and that's the key to that game. Can their defense stop? Because their offense is going to score points, but their defense last year gave up more points than their offense could score. And you wonder if Bentley might hit that sophomore year wall. I don't know, but behind him they don't have anybody. No. So he gets hurt, they're in trouble.
Yeah, they averaged 21 and gave up 26 last year.
Yeah. They gave up 39. You said they won 42-39 or something over South Florida.
46-39.
So, yeah, that's the way they're going to have to win football games. Yeah. They're going to have to outscore everybody. Their defense, even though they get Sky Moore back, I think that's his name. He's their linebacker that was hurt last year and did not play. He'll come back this year. But up front, they do not have any type of pass rush, and they don't do very well against the run. So you know what teams are going to do. They're going to pound the football on South Carolina, tire them out, keep that offense off the field, and try to win 21-3, 21-10, and just beat them up front and make them have to score every time they get the football, and that's a lot of pressure to put on your offense. So that's South Carolina. Plus a big key that I don't know if it's in there much, but Elliott Fry, who was a great field goal kicker for South Carolina, he's gone. He's now in the NFL. So how do you replace that guy? The most prolific scorer in South Carolina history. He's gone. So the kicking game is suspect. The defense is suspect. The offense should be pretty good. But you got to have defense to win the SEC.
On to Kevin Harmon, see on the screen, a UT Sports Update, analyze the SEC East. Got a couple of more teams here. We may not get through all of them today, but we will definitely talk about the blue and white out of Lexington, Kentucky. That would be Mark Stoops and the Kentucky Wildcats in his 5th season. He is 19-30. Again, his first head coaching job, and so 19-30. Again, in Lexington, the Wildcats are 16-13 on the road. Check this out. They are, out of 18 road games, Kentucky is 3-15. Whew. Got to tighten that up a little bit better. Here's your schedule if you're a Kentucky Wildcat fan. You open at Southern Miss, Eastern Kentucky. Then you go to South Carolina, so your 2 non-conference are Southern Miss and, Southern Miss, Eastern Kentucky. Eastern Michigan's on there as well. And then Louisville wraps things up with the Battle of Kentucky. So at Southern Miss, back home to Eastern Kentucky. Kentucky goes to South Carolina. Then they come back home to host Florida. Then they have Eastern Michigan. That's all in September. In October, Missouri for homecoming. At Mississippi State. Tennessee comes in on Halloween weekend into Lexington. Then in November, you have Ole Miss at Vanderbilt, at Georgia, and the Louisville Cardinals in Lexington to wrap it up on November the 25th. So another pretty tough schedule.
Yeah, they got UF and Tennessee at home. They got Mississippi State and Ole Miss out of the West, which is probably the easiest draw you can get. Kentucky, their offense is going to be good. They lost Boone Williams, and they lost their wide receiver, Jeff Badgett, I believe his name was. Got 8 starters coming back on offense. The Stevens kid, Steven Johnson, he emerged as their quarterback at the end of the year. He led them to a victory over Louisville at Louisville, which was a big shocker for everybody. But this year their passing game has to sort of pick it up a little bit. The running game is going to be good, but if you don't pass the football, you know what's going to happen. They're going to stack the box. They're going to make you beat you through the air.
Mm-hmm.
So last year they had a lot of turnovers in the air, and so they have to limit those. They have to be able to pass the football to keep the defense honest, because we should be able to run the football as long as the teams don't pack the box on them. Defensively is where they're going to struggle, because they don't have much of a pass rush. They're kind of thin up front. They do have 9 returning starters from a defense that wasn't that great. I think they got waxed in their bowl last year. So it's,
Georgia Tech got them 33-18 in the Tax Slayer Bowl.
Yeah. And Georgia Tech ran all over them. Georgia Tech runs football, and they couldn't stop them. And their defense that's going to be the same problem this year. Is how do you stop people? Yeah, they're going to have sort of same problem that Florida had. South Carolina has. You got to keep that defense. Has got to keep the offense on the sidelines and be able to. Or you're going to just be in these big scoring contests. Don't know if Kentucky has the firepower like a South Carolina does to be able to outscore people and win football games. They had a lot of turnovers last year, so they got to win the turnover battle, and they can't. They got to keep that offense. They got to get that defense. Has got to stay on the field and stop these teams so they can get the offense the ball back.
They have a 5-year losing streak. They have not beaten either Tennessee, Georgia, or Florida in 5 years, so they're hoping to break through and try to make that happen.
I don't think they beat Florida in like 30 years, has it?
That's what
it's
the
been
stats
forever.
Say it's been. So, but I thought it was interesting going back and looking at their stats. They had Benny Snell and Boone Williams back both in the same backfield, 1,000-yard rushers.
Yeah.
So
Snell's lost back them both, right?
No, Snell's back as a sophomore, so he is back, and he's a big old youngin' too. Snell, 5'11", 223 bowling balls. So we'll see. Their quarterback is Steven Johnson, a senior. So we'll see again.
And they have 4 starting linemen coming back, so their offense, their running game is going to be stout.
Yep. So once again, their defense last year and offense last year, they averaged 30 and gave up 31. So a couple of more here. We got Missouri. Let's check out the Missouri Tigers. Here we go with them. They were 4-8 last year. Their situation is so bleak at Missouri. We gave you a story earlier in the month where they actually have empty dormitory setting because kids aren't coming to school there. I mean, they've had a total attendance drop big time, As a result, they are offering packages. I'm not making this up. For you can come to a Missouri game this year and rent out the dorm as an alum or as a grown up, as an adult, and rent the suites in the dorm, because we got at least two dorms sitting empty in Missouri, totally empty because there's not enough students. So here is the schedule. They have their first 4 games at home: Missouri State, South Carolina, Purdue, and Auburn. So then they go in September, or rather in October, they go to Kentucky, to Georgia, Idaho back in town for homecoming. Then Halloween weekend they'll go to UConn to battle Connecticut. In November, Florida, Tennessee, at Vanderbilt, at Arkansas. That's a brutal schedule.
That's tough.
South Carolina, Auburn, at Georgia, Florida, Tennessee back to back, and that wrapped things up in November, Thanksgiving weekend at Arkansas.
Whew. That's tough.
Oh, Barry Odom's got his hands full.
They got a good quarterback at Drew Lock. He's been a starter up there since he was a freshman. I believe this is his junior year. He's a good passer, but he throws a lot of interceptions. He's got to become more accurate and drive the football, because their defense last year was 118th in the league, in the nation. They gave up 28 rushing touchdowns, 5 yards a carry. So the offense is going to have to control the football and keep the defense off the field, which is kind of unusual. But if you think about when Gary Pinkel was there, the Missouri defenses were stout. And they kept thinking that was going to roll on, but when all that turmoil happened on their campus, it seems to have really knocked off that football program. Remember, if the football program came out and backed everything that was going on, and then Gary Pinkel resigns, it seems like that whole program's sort of falling apart. And now the whole talk is basketball. Conzo Martin's back there. Yeah. He's recruiting lights out, so everybody's looking up for basketball season. It's hard to call Missouri. You get a couple of losses early, this team may go in the tank. My guess is they'll be last in the league.
We'll squeeze in Vanderbilt, wrapping up the SEC East next week. Kevin will be back through. We'll do the SEC West. Vanderbilt, here's her schedule, coming off a 6-7 campaign for Derek Mason. They lost in the Independence Bowl to North Carolina State, 41-17 was their last game. Commodores open up right up the road, or actually in town. They'll be across town down in Murfreesboro at Middle Tennessee State, take on the Blue Raiders. Then they'll host Alabama A&M. Kansas State comes to town. Alabama comes to town. Then they wrap up at Florida, then Georgia. Check this out, in a row. Alabama home, at Florida, Georgia at home for home. Start with, they have Georgia Southern, then they go to Clemson.
Yeah, that'd be a good game.
Mercer, and open up the conference play at Missouri.
Yeah,
but they look at their schedule.
Of course, yeah, you're gonna play the SEC West.
Mississippi State, Ole Miss, at LSU, at Arkansas. Whew. Then they come back in November. Auburn goes to Texas A&M, Georgia, and wraps up with Alabama in the Iron Bowl.
It's tough.
We'll talk about them
next
week.
It's tough to be in the SEC West. And there's that big debate. Which one's better now, ACC or SEC? I think ACC has gained a lot of ground, but there's still it's becoming, because of Alabama's dominance, it's becoming Alabama and the rest of the league in a way. Mm-hmm. And I think that's hurt your perception of the SEC. And the ACC now, Florida State, Louisville's playing better, Georgia Tech's playing better. Clemson, of course, is Clemson.
Hokies.
The Hokies are doing better. They're on the rise. Syracuse, well, some of the teams up east, but I still think the SEC's got a better conference overall. I think your better players are in the SEC. But Florida State's making it very, very tough. I hope they get the Fields kids so we don't have to play him every year in recruiting the quarterback. But we'll see.
Kevin Harmon stopping by, doing a great job as always. Next week we'll take a look at the SEC West, all right?
Sounds great.
Good job.
Thanks, sir.
You the man. He, of course, will be our stringer. We get ready for the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show that debuts August the 17th right here in the showroom at Champion Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy dealer in the state. Quick break. Kristen, if she's still around, get her to come and talk to us on the show right after this on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
This is the place where you can forget all about work for a while and celebrate the good old U.S. of A. And take in the best bumper-banging, fist-waving, hero-making short track race of the year, the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. And kids' tickets are just $10. Be there August 19th, because it ain't just another race. It's Bristol, baby.
Trucks, and more trucks at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. We have a huge selection of over 400 new Silverados to choose from, with over 700 total Chevrolets in stock, with savings that are bigger than our massive selection. Silverado Double and Crew Cab All-Stars, $11,000 off MSRP. Malibu LT, 20% off. 17 Colorado, $19,995. 17 Equinox, $21,445. Don't miss out on one of the best times to buy a new Chevrolet with savings that will leave you asking, how do they do that? At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. Tomorrow we're going to be live at Food City in Churchill. We're going to be there having a big time again for the Midnight Madness sale. And so we always want to say thanks to our guest. Again, our buddy Kevin Harmon was with us, doing a great job as always, analyzing, in this case, the Southeastern Conference Eastern Division. He picked Georgia to be the number 1 team over the Florida Gators. So it's kind of going back and forth as to who, depending on who you like and who you think. But he picked Georgia just a smidgen above Florida, and Tennessee really has been picked basically to finish third by a lot of people in the SEC East Division. And so that's where we are with that. Where we are right now, we're going to hang out here for a few minutes because Kristen wants to be on the show, and we totally get that. So let's run down baseball for you and see what we got going on in the bigs. Again, from last night, Cubs beat their Braves 8-2. Phillies over the Marlins 10-3. Yankees beat the Twins 6-1. You had the Mariners over the Astros 4-1. Rockies all over the Padres 18-4. Oakland 7, the Rays 2. Giants beat the Indians 5-4. 10 innings. Pirates rallied to beat the Brewers 3-2. Walk off with another win over the Brewers. Again, Sterling Marte back from his 80-game suspension and has kind of jump-started this team. Pirates win 3-2-10 over the Brewers. Brewers are in a tailspin. Milwaukee now, they've lost 3 or 4 in a row. Let's see, they have lost 4 in a row. And their lead's now down to a game and a half over the surging Cardinals and the surging Cubs. You have also the Orioles defeating the Rangers 10-2. Baltimore's won 4 in a row. Mets beat the Cardinals 7-3. It was the Reds, can you believe this? Banged out 15 hits and beat Arizona 4-3. Zach Cozart is 11th long ball of the season. Red Sox over the Blue Jays 5-1. Dodgers just keep on keeping on. They beat the White Sox 9-1 in 8 innings. That one held up and ultimately canceled or done for because of rain. Royals over the Tigers 4-3, and Los Angeles shuts out the Nationals 7-0. Dodgers win their 11th straight. They are 31-4 of the last 35 games for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the last team to go 31-4 during a 35-game span is the 1977 Kansas City Royals, who were red hot back then, and the Dodgers are red hot in 2017. What else going on in Major League Baseball? Again, Sonny Gray pitching what could be his last pitching assignment for the Oakland A's. He is definitely up for trade. He went 6 1/3, gave up 7 hits, scattered a couple of or gave up 2 runs, both of them earned. He struck out 6 and scattered 7 hits. He's now 6-4 on the season, and so again, he's very much trade bait, the starter for the Oakland A's. So we'll see if he can get picked up or he'll stay in Oakland with the Athletics. Everybody says he's going to be pulled and be sent somewhere else and get traded between now and the trade deadline on July the 31st. What else going on in sports? Again, Mike Montgomery, solid start for the Cubs last night. 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, scattered 2 hits, a run, struck out 5, walked 1. Cubs beginning to get a little mo, as we say, as the Cubs have now, as we said, have won 6 in a row and 7 out of their last 10. J.D. Martinez traded from Detroit to Arizona, and he wasn't in the lineup more than a couple of innings and gets hit on the ham. Looks like he's going to be okay, but he was removed from last night's game. Day-to-day, x-rays are negative. He is day-to-day, recently coming over from Detroit to Arizona. Giancarlo Stanton now on a tear. He hit another home run last night, his 30th home run of the season, and he's now tied with Aaron Judge of the Yankees for the Major League lead, and so that's his 9th home run in his past 12 games. This guy's on a tear, obviously, and so Stanton now with 30 long balls in the season in 2017, batting .276 on the year. All right, trade rumors. Let's see. Todd Frazier, okay, we already told you he went to the Yankees and got hurt last night. We talked about that earlier in the show. Brian Cashman, the general manager of the Yankees, says he's not done making deals. So, again, keep an eye on what's going on with some of these other. We'll just not speculate, wait to see what happens between now and the trade deadline. But there are some folks out there that are very much being sought after. One of those being, again, Sonny Gray from the Oakland A's. After one game with the Twins, Bartolo Colon considering retirement. Days after designating third baseman Pablo Sandoval for assignment, the Red Sox outright released him. He is gone. Indian starting pitcher Danny Salazar with a shoulder slated to return to the rotation on Saturday against Toronto, which is good news for the Indians. And so National starting pitcher Joe Ross underwent successful Tommy John surgery on Wednesday. He will miss the remainder of the season and a good chunk of 2018, the starter for the Washington Nationals. And so that's a look again at the bigs. Again, our scoreboard update. Let's have that for you before we go to the break here. Give you the very latest what's going on in Major League Baseball here on this Thursday afternoon. In the bottom of the 4th, the Mets lead the Cardinals 1-0. In the middle of the 3rd, Arizona leads the Reds 3-0. Bottom of the 2nd, you have the Pirates leading the Brewers 1-0 in Pittsburgh. And so that's what's going on in Major League Baseball right now. We'll take a break. She'll be right here. She is La Queen. Kristen Martin again, the Internet Sales. Champion Chevrolet next to wrap up our show here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, live from Champion Chevrolet, show number 561, brought to you by Grip Energy Drink.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. Your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Back on the Tom Baylor Sports Show, and no, I'm not Kristen, but we're about to get her on the screen because we want to let her visit with us before we get out of here again on this Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow we're going to be in Food City, Churchill, the Midnight Madness Sale. Monday we'll be in West Virginia. Literally, we're going to be live at Hardee's in West Virginia. They want us to go up and do some shows there. So we're going to be talking West Virginia and Marshall football. And we're going to be talking also about Tennessee sports. We'll get a NASCAR wrap-up on Monday from our buddy Mike Hedrick from the racing over the weekend at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The racing there Saturday and Sunday. If you missed it early, Matt Crafton won the truck race last night on the dirt at the Eldora Dirt Derby in Eldora, Ohio. She is here. ChampionJC.com is where you'll find this young lady in the literal sense, because she heads up and works and does involved in the sales department on the internet side of things. Champion Chevrolet, the one, the only Kristen Martin. Hello, young lady. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Can I tell them brown sugar and fig?
That's it.
That's what she has on. You have it on today?
I have it on today. Well, I've been running around, so it's probably not. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I get that. So brown sugar and fig, and so does a wonderful job. Couldn't remember a while ago. She sat down and said it was Sea Level, North Carolina. There you go. So last week when we had her on the show, she was working with a customer that drove in here from Sea Level, which is on the Atlantic coast. We tried to guess, and I have no clue, how many Chevrolet dealerships are between the Atlantic Ocean and Johnson City, Tennessee. We just figured out there was a bunch, and they came here, and it all got started because of the ChampionJC.com website. Tell us about that.
Yes, they had been on to our website, and we had a vehicle that they were interested in. Actually, the daughter came online first. She was looking for something for her mom, and we had exactly what they were looking for, and she reached out to us, and then we ended up finishing up everything with her dad and then the mom as well, and they came in and picked it up and was quite pleased with it.
There you go. Happy Campers.
Mm-hmm.
That was the guy that had the dog out here on the leash.
Yes.
Running around and put him in the car, and they headed back to Sea Level, North Carolina. Happy Campers. Once you make a purchase at Champion, I know this firsthand because I bought mine here last year, then they they begin to contact you, make sure you're happy, make sure things are good, so you service after the sale, right?
We do. We always try to touch everybody, make sure everybody's taken care of, and if you come in to have some service work done and it's warranty work that's going to take a while, we try to take care of people and getting them to work and loaner cars and whatever, so there's a lot of little extras that we provide here.
ChampionJC.com. So again, step us through. We do this each week, but it bears repeating. Step us through the process, how it all gets started.
Okay, you start out on the website or any of our sister sites that we use, some of the other ones that everybody kind of knows if you're looking for a pre-owned. But you start out on the website and it'll show you our inventory. You can narrow it down. If you're looking at a new Traverse, you can narrow it down to front wheel drive or all wheel drive or whatever is important to you, cloth or leather, and you can look at colors. We'll have 35 pictures of the vehicle on there and try to see everything that you need to see, and then you can jump on there. You can text us, you can chat with us live, you can call us, you can email us. So there's a lot of different ways. If you're at work and you're busy and you don't have time to call, you can always do those other things to get in touch with us and ask your questions.
So the $100,000 question, I see a car on there or a truck or whatever, I go, can I afford it? You can kind of find out right then about that too, right?
You sure can. There's actually a finance tab. It'll allow you to do a credit application. That'll come directly to us. We try to get everything done as much as possible before you ever arrive. So if we figure out your credit, we figure out your everything down to the interest rate and your payment per month, and get everything all worked out for you. We call and say, is this all agreeable? We can secure the vehicle until you can get here to pick it up, and we'll have it, gassed if it's new and detailed and ready to go when you get here, and paperwork's ready to sign. So it makes it a real quick and easy process.
She just came back, make a little trip down to the gas station, put some gas in the vehicle, right?
I did. That's the one that's going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
You sold that one?
I did, yes.
That was to the football coach.
That's to the assistant football coach, Coach Grimes. Used to be, I think, the coach over at Virginia Tech or at some capacity, but yes, he is buying one of our Suburbans.
From LSU.
From LSU.
From Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I tried to get him to come here. There's a lot of these guys wanting to meet him, but he's a busy man apparently.
Yeah. So
coaching a football team apparently is a lot of work.
You're taking the car to him.
They're shipping it. The shipping company will be here tomorrow. Paperwork's done. We did the paperwork. We did everything. We overnighted it to him. He overnighted it back. Everything's done, and the people will pick it up tomorrow, and he'll have his car in a couple days.
Watch this. Andy, how many dealerships are between Johnson City and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chevrolet dealerships? He's going to say a bunch.
I would say 700 or 800.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a few.
Seriously? Yeah. Wow. So, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Go down and kind of do a dog leg. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Well, that's...
As the crow flies.
I love this guy. He's a piece of work. Yeah. It's just a bunch. There's a bunch of them. Bunch. Oodles. Ottawa. There you go. Again, from Baton Rouge this week to Johnson City. Last week, Sea Level, North Carolina to Johnson City. This happens all the time, doesn't it?
It happens all the time. It sure does.
Now, that's not to say you have a lot of folks locally too come in here too, though.
We do. We have a lot of repeat business and referrals. So people that come here and shop here know how we take care of them, and they come back and they send their friends and family to us. So we really always appreciate referrals, especially. That's a huge compliment.
So I was talking about the long distance, and we've had them in here, Georgia, West Virginia, of course, North Carolina, Louisiana, that have come in here, but also folks here in the Tri-Cities. You have a tremendous amount of folks here in the immediate Tri-Cities, and also in East Tennessee and just in Tennessee in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So ChampionJC.com is where you want to go. The phone number 423-282-2121, and so that's something we haven't talked a whole lot about, but if need be, you can deliver it and have it shipped to a particular place. In this case, this Suburban's going to Baton Rouge to the football coach, who's probably too busy to come up and get it this time of the year.
He's quite busy. I've talked to him quite a bit the last several weeks, and he stays very, very busy.
He found us on the internet, right?
He did, sure did.
Now, how would somebody in Baton Rouge how would they would type in Suburban? How would it pick up Champion?
He actually said that they were just Googling the Suburban in the particular color that they were looking for, and it narrowed it down to us. There was us and one other in the entire country, and we actually were further than the other dealership, but we gave him a better deal. So,
proof's in the pudding. There you go. What's the update on the Colbster?
Colbster's still at camp this week. He's at Camp ACC with our church, and he's having a good time. He says he's missing the brother and sister because they get along pretty well, strangely. So it'll be hard when he leaves.
Yeah. Sister, she's going to be a cheerleader again this year?
Yes. They have cheer camp next week, so she's excited about that.
And then the third one is?
He is actually a baseball player, so they keep me very busy.
So it's just like this. If you see her going down the road, she's usually a blur going to a practice or a game, or she's got three of them going in all different directions. So keeps you hopping.
Very much so. Keeps me hopping all the time. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
I knew it was
Yep.
All right, give me some taters. like this lady. Great job. We'll talk to you next
Thank you,
week.
Tom.
Yep, good job. And so we will, again, let's hit this right here, and we'll come back here and wrap this puppy up again. That's Kristen Martin again with the internet sales. Again, all you have to do is go to championjc.com, and there they be. And so I could be Kristen the rest of the show, but I probably won't. I'll go ahead and put me on there. There you go. Today is the last day. Don't forget to register for the Dollywood tickets. Absolutely free. No purchase necessary. Again, there you go. TomTaylorSports.com/contest. We'll give those away tomorrow. We'll be at Food City in Churchill for the Midnight Madness sale tomorrow. So looking forward to that. Big thanks to our guest, as always, Andy Dietrich, co-owner of Champion Chevrolet. Kristen Martin, again, with the internet sales portion of this facility, ChampionJC.com. And, of course, Don Shepard from North Point Church came by earlier in the show. Also, of course, Carmichael is here. Dave Angie from the Johnson City Press and Kevin Harmon, UT Sports Update. Tomorrow on the road again at Food City in Churchill for the Midnight Madness sale. We'll see you then. Again, like us and share us. Again, our show number 561. We thank you, of course, for being with us here. We'll give you the complete rundown and get ready for a big weekend of racing tomorrow. Pat Patterson due to join us from Indianapolis with the weekend of Xfinity and Cup racing. Ever so closer we are. We'll be by tomorrow inside of 30 days to the Bass Pro Shop. NRA night race, again, America's night race, will be at 29 days tomorrow. Tickets 423 Bristol, BristolTix.com, TIX.com, or 1-866-415-4158. So it's going to be a big, big weekend of sports, and we'll give you the very latest in the British Open and what's going on there, of course, as they open today's opening round of the British Open. Again, let's run down real quick before we get out of here the baseball schedule for today. In the American League tonight under the lights, Texas at Baltimore, Detroit at Kansas City, and the Yankees at Seattle. Also, there's a game just getting ready to start in about 2 minutes, Toronto and the Red Sox at Fenway Park. In the National League, you have a couple of day games, St. Louis and New York, Arizona at Cincinnati. I'll give you those updates. Also, Milwaukee at Pittsburgh. Tonight under the lights, the Braves will be in L.A. to battle the hottest team in baseball, winners of 11 in a row. The Los Angeles Dodgers, and San Diego will take on Bumgarner, who's back in the rotation, and the San Francisco Giants in San Francisco tonight. And let's give you the baseball update real quick before we get out of here, because we can. Middle of the fourth, Arizona leads the Reds 3-0. Bottom of the third, Pittsburgh leads the Brewers 1-0. And just getting started first pitch, the Red Sox and the Blue Jays at Fenway Park in Boston. Appalachian League Baseball tonight. The only place you can watch your Appalachian League teams here in the Tri-Cities will be in Elizabethton, the Bristol Pirates and the Elizabethton Twins. 7 o'clock first pitch tonight. Cardinals in Burlington. Greenville will be in Danville. Kingsport and Bluefield for your Appalachian League Baseball. In the Tri-Cities division, Elizabethton with a 1-game lead now over the Greenville Astros. Cardinals are 5 back, and Kingsport 5.5 back right now in the Appalachian League. In the East, Pulaski, the Yankees, with a 1-game lead over the Bluefield Blue Jays. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours until we greet you tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Food City in Churchill. This is Tom Taylor telling you, as always, win or lose, be a good sport as we wrap up show number 561 with Grip Energy Sports. Again, the Grip Energy Vitamin Enhanced Energy Drink. Just finished me off one right here, the root beer. It is good. Vitamin infused energy drink, Grip, the root beer, love it. We'll see you tomorrow live from Food City, who sells the Grip Energy Drink. Until then, have a great Thursday, and so long, everybody.